And Yuan shouted, "Kill the enemy first, before breaking the array. Be careful of the ambush from the outside to the inside." In the God-sealing spear array, there was a fierce battle. This was because the God-sealing spear's restricted area was only 10,000 kilometers wide. But there were more than 80 battlefields. Therefore, the combat power here kept rushing at the God-sealing spear array. Rumble. Unfortunately, even though the strength of the cultivators from the city of origin had been suppressed, Luo Xiaobai led 80 people, and the sky openers from the city of origin were generally stronger than those of the human race. Therefore, in just one clash, one person on the human race's side was blown up, and the great Tao crack only cracked for hundreds of kilometers in the sky. However, the human race was brave. And Yuan personally witnessed a human cultivator hugging a powerhouse from the city of origin and blowing himself up. As for why this person dared to do this, it was naturally because he could still be reborn. At this moment, everyone seemed to realize something. Luo Xiaobai seemed to have expected all of this, so without asking for their opinion, she forcibly took their flesh, blood, and soul. From the looks of it, this was really a way to save their lives. Otherwise, they would have really died now. As for Yuan, he had his eyes on Luo Xiaobai. Although he had fallen into the other party's trap today, the other party was clearly not strong enough to kill the strong masters of the city of origin. Therefore, so far, no one had suffered a loss in this battle. And Yuan said, "You're not qualified to be a commander at all." Luo Xiaobai only responded with one word, "Kill." In less than half an hour, the sky was full of great Tao cracks. More than 50 people had died on the human side, but only 32 people had died on the city of origin side. Besides, even though Yuan and the others' strength had been restricted by about 30% and the human race's great techniques were very strong, the latter was still no match for the former. Luo Xiaobai was even forced to run and could barely resist Yuan. Yingyue shouted, "Commander, call for reinforcements." Someone shouted, "Commander, we can't hold on anymore. Our realms are not as high as theirs." The hexagon starfish also roared crazily, "Luo Xiaobai. Starfish can't hold on anymore. Aren't you very smart? Why don't you have any plan B?" Luo Xiaobai's face was slightly cold. "Come." Swish. 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 In the void, outside the God-sealing spear array, 5 figures rushed over. They were all in the perfected star transformation realm. Who would they be if they weren't Wang Xiaojiu and the others? Seeing this, Yuan couldn't help but laugh out loud. Just 5 perfected star transformation realm cultivators. I thought you had a lot of trump cards. Chirp. As the cicadas chirped, a hole appeared in the void, and 50 strong masters in the perfected star transformation realm suddenly appeared. And Yuan mocked, "I've been waiting for your cards. Is that all you've got?" Puff. However, as soon as Yuan said so, a huge fierce cat phantom burst out with the shadow of a sky-tearing claw and tore apart a perfected star transformation realm cultivator from the city of origin. And Yuan's face changed slightly. "Tao lock level?" Wang Xiaojiu shouted, "Come on. I'm unparalleled in the world. I once fought 10,000 enemies with the human emperor." Sha Diao was as swift as a shadow. With the protection of the sand, he rushed into the siege of the perfected star transformation realm cultivators, and his ferocious shadow wreaked havoc. Yu Ju's defense was unparalleled, and he was like a humanoid ultra-quality godly weapon. Wang Lanlan activated the Clam Mountain array and trapped 3 people. Huang Ergu's strength was mediocre and he could barely fight 2 people. Then, Luo Xiaobai shouted, "Enter the array. Don't fight." Upon hearing this, Wang Xiaojiao and the others rushed out of the battlefield. It's not difficult for 5 Dao Lock level powerhouses to rush out of the Siege of 50 perfected star transformation realm cultivators. When Wang Xiaojiao and the others rushed into the God Sealing Spear array, the others outside also tried to rush in, but they all bumped into the array. Huh. Wang Lanlan was surprised. This array recognize people? Luo Xiaobai said, "Cut the crap. Kill them. Remember to keep their corpses. They're useful." The expressions of An Yuan and the others changed drastically. Isn't this a sealed array? Why can't the people of the An family enter it? But if even the perfected star transformation realm cultivators of the city of Origin couldn't get in. An Yuan's face changed drastically and he shouted, "En Yi, charge!" Outside the array of the God Sealing Spear, a strong master roared, "Everyone! Follow me to break the array." But at this time, Wang Xiaojiao and the others had already begun to slaughter wantonly the team of the City of Origin, which only had 1 perfected star transformation realm cultivator, was almost crushed by 5 lock level powerhouses. Luo Xiaobai looked calm and stopped attacking, letting Wang Xiaojiao and the others charge forward. Sha Diao caused a sandstorm with the protection of sand, and in the storm, more than 30 people were crushed in the blink of an eye. Wang Lanlan's great Dao was very strange. It could actually slow people down. When the people of the An family used the heavenly cicada wings, their speed was very fast, but under Wang Lanlan's great Dao, their speed seemed to suddenly decrease by several times. Coupled with Yu Ju's sharp claws, more than 10 people were killed in a row in the blink of an eye. Outside, An Ye's men had launched a round of attacks, only to discover, to their surprise, that the spear array was intact with only less than 200 walls broken. However, after this round of impact, there were only less than 30 cultivators from the City of Origin left in the array. And Yi shouted, "Luo Xiaobai, even if they all die, you won't be able to survive today." On the human side, there were only 27 people left at this moment. All of them looked at this scene speechlessly. They didn't hate Luo Xiaobai much. However, although Luo Xiaobai had prepared a trump card, there was already such a huge sacrifice before the war even started. They just felt that this war commander didn't deserve her position. Besides, it was rather careless of her to expose their whereabouts. Luo Xiaobai said unhurriedly, "This place is only a little more than a day away from the front line of our human race. Besides, the human race's teleportation array has been under construction. Although it hasn't been completely completed, it will only take 6 hours at most to come here." With that said, Luo Xiaobai took out a jade slip and crushed it. Then, she said indifferently, "Let's make a bet. In 6 hours, will you break through the array and kill us, or will human reinforcements arrive?" And Yi sneered and bombarded the array. "Your array can't even last half an hour. 6 hours? I think you're kidding." Luo Xiaobai casually took out 100,000 God Sealing Spears and said indifferently, "The human emperor gave me a lot of these things. Do you want to try them?" And Ye's expression changed immediately. "What the hell is this? Doesn't this level of array cost money? Taking out 100,000 spears at once? Is this human emperor out of his mind? When the 100,000 god sealing spear appeared and Yuan's heart turned cold. They were doomed. In less than 10 seconds, and Yuan was slapped to death by Wang Xiaozhou's claw. He left quite peacefully without any pain. Wang Xiaozhou was still mumbling. Why don't we kill our way out now? I think. If there are only 50 people on the other side, maybe we can make it. Upon hearing this, Yi shouted, stop attacking. Yi wasn't stupid. They could destroy 200 of the 100,000 god sealing spear arrays on average every time they attacked together. If they wanted to destroy 100,000 of them, they would have to attack at least 500 times with all their strength. But the 5 guys inside weren't weak. They were all Daolock level powerhouses. If they attacked with all their strength 500 times, with these 5 guys in the array, nearly half of his men might die. Besides, 500 full-strength attacks were too time-consuming. If it were just ordinary attacks, they could bombard 500 times in an instant, but in the face of such a level of array, they obviously couldn't. In addition, Luo Xiaobai had already called for reinforcements. Although she said 6 hours, it was possible that human reinforcements would come faster. Yi shouted, Humph, your human race doesn't even have high-level combat power on the front-line battlefield. Who are you fooling? Luo Xiaobai asked, if we don't have high-level combatants, why did we fight? For decades? That's because. Yi suddenly stopped. The human race and the city of origin had been fighting tentatively for decades. The strong masters of the city of origin had always said that it was unknown whether the great monarch was alive or not, so they couldn't be too aggressive. Otherwise, if the human emperor and the master of silence joined forces and attacked, the war would continue to escalate, and the consequences would be very serious. It was for this reason that the war between the city of origin and the human race was actually just stalling for time. They had no intention of really starting a war. However, he couldn't tell Luo Xiaobai about this. Otherwise, wouldn't it be equivalent to telling her that it was unknown whether our great monarch was alive or not? Come on, beat us. Cold sweat broke out on Yi's back. He almost fell for Luo Xiaobai's trick and told her the truth. Yi snorted coldly. It's just a training exercise. Doesn't your human race have the same purpose? If your human race sends out high-end combat power, aren't you afraid that our city of origin will also send out high-end combat power? That being said, Yi wasn't sure if the human race had any high-level combatants. Therefore, he said via voice transmission, "Mo, go back to the front line through your origin star immediately and tell everything here to Commander and Lu Dao. In addition, tell him that Luo Xiaobai is indeed difficult to deal with. If we don't kill her today, she will definitely become a big problem in the future. Tell him that I need reinforcements." A person beside Yi suddenly disappeared. Luo Xiaobai said indifferently, "It's a technique to cross domains with origin stars." Yi sneered. "So what? Like I said, you will die today." Luo Xiaobai didn't speak, but just waited quietly. Yi snorted coldly and didn't attack either. He thought to himself, anyway, it will only take 100 seconds at most for my reinforcements to arrive. I don't believe you. Won't die then. Yue, Su Meng, and the others were all very nervous at this moment. The result of this trip was far beyond their expectations. They had thought that something would happen, but they didn't expect it to directly trigger a war of This scale. They didn't even understand why Luo Xiaobai was so calm. On the other side, an MO returned quickly. Commander-in-Chief, something has happened. Please reinforce us quickly. And Mo's origin star had long been refined and placed beside An Ludao. This was a habit of some big clans. The reason why the human race didn't do this wasn't that they didn't want to, but that the high-level combat power of the human race hadn't gone up yet. Mo was a perfected star transformation realm cultivator. But on the human race's side, there weren't any perfected star transformation realm cultivators yet, and there were only a few people in the peak-level late-stage star transformation realm. It was meaningless to use this technique. And Lu Dao immediately appeared. What's the matter? I saw that the life tablets of An Yuan and the others were all shattered. Were they tricked? Was Luo Xiaobai the bait? And Mo said, my lord, not exactly. Blah, blah. Oh? After An Mo finished speaking, and Lu Dao was a little surprised. Are you saying that Luo Xiaobai called for reinforcements from the front line battlefield? And Mo nodded. Yes. Luo Xiaobai said that reinforcements would come in 6 hours, but we should be faster. My lord, there's no time to lose. Luo Xiaobai. Seems not bad. However, and Lu Dao suddenly interrupted An Mo. After a moment of silence, he asked, was Luo Xiaobai very strong? And Mo said, not exactly. Nothing special has been shown so far, but she can indeed cross realms to fight. Also, she has a lot of treasures and 5 Dao lock-level guardians. Those 5 people seem to be ferocious beasts and are very powerful. In just a moment, the 5 of them swept through 70 people, including An Yuan. Are you sure they don't have any more trump cards? And Mo said, I'm not sure about that, but I guess not, because more than 50 human cultivators brought by Luo Xiaobai died in this battle. The astronomical changes are obvious. They should be completely dead. If it weren't for her 5 guardians, I'm afraid they would have all died by now. But I can't guarantee it. It's possible that the human race used more than 50 sky openers to put on a show. And Lu Dao shook his head. No. You haven't fought the human race before, so you don't know their fighting style. They are a group of people who value friendship very much. On the battlefield, even if their partners only have a bone left, they will snatch it back if they can. If Luo Xiaobai has a trump card, she shouldn't be indifferent to the deaths of so many sky openers. Unless she is a heartless person. Wait for me for a moment. And Lu Dao left his origin star, and within 100 seconds, he took 6 teleportation arrays in a row to the front-line battlefield. At this moment, nearly 50,000 soldiers were fighting in the front line, or to be exact, they were training their soldiers. This had been a tacit agreement for decades that they would hone themselves through war. In the past, it had been like this between the city of scavengers and the city of wanderers. Now that the human race had come, it was the same game. Seeing An Lu Dao, someone hurriedly went forward and bowed. Commander-in-Chief, why are you here? And Lu Dao frowned slightly. Why is the scale of the fight so large? The man said, my lord, we don't know what's wrong with the human race. They suddenly sent 10 times their original manpower to fight a group battle. How can we admit defeat? So we can only fight them. And Liu Dao's expression changed slightly. Ignoring this person, he unfolded the heavenly cicada wings and instantly disappeared. After a while and Liudao's eyes flashed. Sure enough, there are strong void fluctuations behind the human race. It seems that someone has indeed gone to reinforce them. Haha. Since we want to kill the war commander of the human race, why don't we destroy the front line too? Swish. And Lu Dao disappeared and reappeared in the sea of stars. On his origin star, 1,000 perfected star transformation realm cultivators were sitting cross-legged quietly. These people were here only to prevent accidents from happening. Usually, they didn't have to go out to fight. At this moment, and Lu Dao said, and Mia, come out. Take 100-person team. And follow an MO to quickly attack and kill Luo Xiaobai, the war commander of the human race. The rest of you, come out and follow me to destroy the front line of the human race. Huh? Someone was surprised. Destroy the front line of the human race? Are we declaring war on the human race? The great monarch has returned? And Lu Dao shook his head. This is an order from the Elder Council. Once Luo Xiaobai's potential is confirmed, she must be killed. Even if it means starting a war, our city of origin must not let the human race have another monarch. On the way to the front line of the human race, Luo Xiaobai and the others were waiting. However, on the human side, be it Yingyue or the others chosen by Luo Xiaobai, they were all nervous. In this battle, no one won. They even felt that Luo Xiaobai might not win. This was because this place was actually more than 6 hours away from the front line of the human race. There weren't that many so-called teleportation arrays. However, they couldn't show it now. Their only hope was that Luo Xiaobai still had other trump cards. It took an MO about 300 seconds to leave. And Yi frowned. Did an MO run into some trouble? Buzz. In the next moment, an MO appeared. As a phantom of a world appeared, a team of 100 perfected star transformation realm cultivators appeared. Yes, there were many sky openers in the city of origin now. Another 100-person team had randomly come, and they were all perfected star transformation realm powerhouses. An MO said, Master and Yi, the commander-in-chief said that Luo Xiaobai must die. He asked Master and Mia to bring a team of 100 perfected star transformation realm cultivators here to kill her. Gulp. Yingyue and the others were all dumbfounded. Although they had seen a lot of battles, a team of 100 perfected star transformation realm cultivators was too much. Plus in Yi and his men, there would be 150 people. How could they defeat them? Although there were 5 strong masters on the human side, it was unrealistic for each of them to fight 30 alone. Before Yi spoke, Luo Xiaobai said calmly, it seems that the city of origin is preparing to declare war on the human race? Ha ha ha. And Yi laughed out loud and suddenly turned ferocious. So what? Declaring war won't give you a chance to prove your Dao. And Mia said, cut the crap. Let's end this quickly. The commander-in-chief has started the battle before the human reinforcement comes against our front line? And Ye's heart skipped a beat. This was really a declaration of war. Suddenly, the clan became so aggressive. Could it be that there was news of the great monarch Tianming? And Yi shouted, let's attack together. This array is rather difficult to break. We need 100 people to break it together. The rest of you, reserve your strength. At this moment, a turtle shell appeared in Luo Xiaobai's hand. Then, the world seemed to be enveloped by darkness. She said indifferently, "All right, it's time to end this." "And ye and Mie? The humans?" In the next second, the 100,000 god sealing spear rolled back, and Luo Xiaobai's figure changed. In the blink of an eye, she turned into a man. "The hexagon starfish? Ah, how can it be you?" Han Fei smiled casually. "I've been tolerating you for days, you stupid starfish." Boom. The hexagon starfish was slapped to the ground, his face full of shock. He felt so aggrieved. He was supposed to follow Luo Xiaobai. Why did it suddenly become Han Fei? Hiss. Master Human Emperor? Huh? Greetings, Master Human Emperor. Greetings, Master Human Emperor. Yue, Su Meng and the others were all stunned. What kind of transformation technique was this? And Yi and Anya were dumbfounded. Human Emperor? The monarch of the human race? Not good. We're tricked. Run. At this moment, Anya reacted first. Facing a monarch, they could only run or die. With their strength, it was impossible for them to kill a monarch. However, with continuous bangs, they all hit the turtle shell sky ceiling. Technique. Han Fei had come in person. How could they survive? And Yi roared, "Human Emperor, you are declaring war on our city of origin. Our great monarch is still around. How dare you?" Hee hee. Han Fei chuckled. "Didn't you declare war first? The war on the front line. Battlefield should have started by now, right?" For a moment, everyone thought, if the human emperor personally led this team. Where was Luo Xiaobai? Shocked, and Yi and Anya immediately figured it out. This was a trap set up by the human emperor to deliberately make it look like they were defeated and asked the front line for help. Since this was fake, the so-called reinforcement from the front line must be fake too. The humans in the front line deliberately set up a trap to bait Enlu Dao. In this way, if Enlu Dao attacked the human race first, it would be a real declaration of war. But what they didn't understand was why they had to set up such a trap. What was the point of such a trap? Furthermore, the human emperor had personally set it up. Not to mention Yi and the others, even Yue and the others didn't understand. Finally, someone couldn't help but ask, "Master Human Emperor, since you want to take action, why did you set up such a trap?" What this person meant was, why did they have to cut off a great Dao? Han Fei was not in a hurry to attack. He said casually, "Firstly, your path has gone astray. This time, I'll help you cut off your great Daos. Think carefully next time you choose a great Dao to cultivate. Secondly, although I said I would leave the battle below the monarch realm, to you, I'm not asking the only thousands of sky openers of the human race to fight against the hundreds of thousands of peak-level late-stage star transformation realm and perfected star transformation realm cultivators in the city of origin. That would only be courting death. If I really want to do that, even if I mobilize all the strength of the human race, we won't be there. Match. Therefore, many people misunderstand what I mean. Thirdly, who will declare war first? This matter is of great significance and involves the subsequent arrangements of your war commander." After a pause, Han Fei turned around with a smile and said, "By the way, I didn't set up this trap today. I'm just a tool." Everyone. And you seem to have thought of something, and his expression turned ugly. Our spies are pure human beings. Han Fei sneered. Possession is not a difficult thing. If you think you can Completely infiltrate the human race just by possessing someone. You're underestimating us. And Yi asked, so, the news that Luo Xiaobai is going to be the human race's second monarch is also a lie? Han Fei smiled casually. No, the war commander of the human race must be the second person to prove Dao after me. And Yi shouted in a low voice, Human Emperor, you are a monarch. Don't you think it's shameless to attack us who are mere sky openers? I'm done talking to you. Han Fei crushed the air, and Yi felt gravity change around his body. His body seemed to be deformed, his bones seemed to be squeezed, and the world seemed to be pressuring him. Bang! Yi exploded into a mist of blood. However, Han Fei seemed to think of something and summoned a beam of divine light to revive a small part of Yi's body. Han Fei said to the others, next time you attack, remember to leave some body parts of the enemy. It's very useful. It can save you 1,000 years of cultivation. Everyone? Everyone looked at each other in bewilderment. Was there such a good thing? However, it seemed that Master Human Emperor didn't hold back and crushed him. If it were us, we wouldn't be able to cut him even if he stood still and let us slash him. Yue was one of Han Fei's most trusted subordinates. At this moment, she boldly stepped forward. Master Human Emperor, shall we go to the front line to provide support? Han Fei shook his head slightly. No hurry. Wait a moment. Several hours ago, in the rear command center of the human battlefield, a woman in white stood quietly in front of a sand table on the battlefield. Beside her, Lu Xian and Yu Jiaojiao were on her left and right, and Hong Yu was standing opposite Luo Xiaobai. Someone said, Commander, if Enlu Dao really attacks our rear, I'm afraid we don't have enough manpower. Someone frowned. I'm afraid that the realm and strength of our human race can't keep up. I heard from the people in the City of Wanderers that there are many peak-level late-stage star transformation realm or perfected star transformation realm cultivators in the City of Origin. What if? Luo Xiaobai said calmly, it's about time. Everyone couldn't help but look at Luo Xiaobai in confusion. It's about time? Luo Xiaobai picked up a small bamboo pole and pointed at a gap in the sand. Table. Jiangye, listen. Jiangye perked up. Yes. Luo Xiaobai said, lead 20,000 sea establishers to ambush in the 9 linked mountains. Once the sea establisher army of the City of Origin retreated, cut off their formation from the middle. Yes, Commander. After that, Jiangye turned around and left without hesitation. They were trained by Han Fei. Since Han Fei said that Luo Xiaobai was the war commander of the human race, she must be. Although they liked Hong Yu, it didn't mean that they couldn't accept Luo Xiaobai. Luo Xiaobai said, Ling Ran, listen up. Yes. Luo Xiaobai instructed, take 20,000 sea establishers to the Gunia Mountains and wait for the defeated deserters of the City of Origin. Kill as many of them as you can. Yes, Commander. Ling Ran didn't ask why Luo Xiaobai was so sure that there would be deserters. She just felt that since Luo Xiaobai had said so, there would definitely be deserters. Luo Xiaobai said, Chu Lingyu, when Ruqing, listen up. Yes. Luo Xiaobai instructed, after the battle, go straight to the command center of the City of Origin and behead all the commanders of the City of Origin. If the mission goes smoothly, evacuate from the 3-world mountain after completing it. Yes, Commander. Luo Xiaobai continued, when Ruqing, take 200 sky openers to take a detour to the three-world mountain to receive Chu Lingyu and the others. If anything happens to their mission, you have to find Xingyu as soon as possible and ask him to take action. These are Chu Lingyu and the others' life tablets. Take them all with you. Yes, Commander. Luo Xiaobai led a small bamboo pole and picked 67 people in a row, including both sky openers and explorers. When there were only Luo Xiaobai, Lu Xian, Yu Jiaojiao, and Hong Yu who served as the acting commander left in the huge human command center, Yu Jiaojiao couldn't help but frown. Xiaobai, if you send everyone out, won't the strong masters in the city of origin notice? Luo Xiaobai said, firstly, the spatial fluctuations caused by the departure of the sky openers were originally left for them to see. Secondly, other than the mobilization of the sky openers, the rest are just normal military mobilization. Cultivators are extremely mobile and can't only guard one place. The frequent random distribution of military power can greatly reduce the possibility of being targeted. The other party is experienced in battle and knows this. Even if they have seen some clues, they won't care about these trivial matters now. Lu Xian asked, you're using yourself as bait. Who will protect you? Human Emperor? Luo Xiaobai shook her head slightly. No. Besides, I'm not the only bait. There are a total of 403 baits. The sky openers I dispatched just now were all brought over later. The former sky openers on the frontline battlefield are all here. Only in this way can Lu Dao and the others believe. Yu Jiaojiao asked, then what should we do now? Luo Xiaobai said, speed is important in war. And Lu Dao knows this well. Wait. For half an hour. Lu Xian and Yu Jiaojiao looked at each other. Back then, they were convinced by Luo Xiaobai's powerful logical ability and talent for wisdom. They had thought that the 3 million people in the demon plant fortress were enough for Luo Xiaobai to lead. But now it seemed that the demon plant fortress might be nothing to Luo Xiaobai. This battlefield of the human race might be where Luo Xiaobai could give a full play to her strength. After half an hour, in the rear command center of the human race, a total of 403 people were cultivating here, and Luo Xiaobai didn't count in those supervising the battle. On the front line. Bang! Suddenly, outside the human race's headquarters, the void trembled, and the overwhelming pressure of various great Daos shook the world. Led by Lu Dao. 832 cultivators in the peak-level late-stage star transformation realm or perfected star transformation realm suddenly appeared here. The human race naturally noticed their blatant attack the moment they appeared. For a moment, all the sky openers here were on guard. There were hundreds of thousands of sea establishers and tens of millions of venerables in the headquarters in addition to them. Not good. Enemy attack. Enemy attack. The people in the city of origin are crazy. They are going to officially declare war. Buzz. Immediately, a large array was activated in the human headquarters. However, Lu Dao didn't seem to care. He said, you should know that this kind of energy array can't withstand a strong attack. He raised his hand, and 832 people from the city of origin attacked at the same time. These were all in the peak-level late-stage star transformation realm and perfected star transformation realm, and even half of them were in the perfected star transformation realm. Therefore, when these more than 800 people attacked together, their strength was terrifying. After only one round of impact, the human race's protective array dimmed. Pooh. 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 For a moment, the 64 sky openers in charge of guarding the array spat out their essence blood. They were seriously injured by this terrifying counterforce. Think of a way to escape. You must go back alive and report this matter to the human emperor. Nonsense. If we die, no one needs to inform Master Human Emperor. He'll find out soon. Let Master Hongyu escape with his men. Hey, the asterisk starts from the city of origin, come on. Do you think I'm afraid of you? I might die today, but you'll have to come to accompany me tomorrow. Master Human Emperor will avenge us. You idiots have no idea what you're doing. Come on. How can we humans be afraid of death? And Lu Dao was indifferent. As a general, he had already made a decision and couldn't change his mind now. Even if he changed his mind now, he had completely offended the human race and there was no possibility of reconciliation. Therefore, and Lu Dao roared, break the array now. Just as the cultivators of the city of origin were about to break the array, a woman in white walked out of the human command center, calmly. Even Hongyu stood behind this woman, not daring to cross at all, not even walking side by side with her. Master Hongyu, run. Huh? Who is this? The war commander? Ah. Wasn't it said that the commander wouldn't come to the front line until tomorrow? Why is it today? The moment Lu Dao saw Luo Xiaobai, his heart trembled. How could it be? This woman was the war commander of the human race? Then who was the person besieged by an MO and the others? We've been tricked? And Lu Dao reacted very quickly. He immediately scanned his surroundings with his perception, but he didn't find anything unusual. And Lu Dao sneered. Are you bluffing? Your war commander is besieged on the road at this moment. Do you think you can trick me? Luo Xiaobai slowly opened her mouth and said indifferently as if introducing the battle situation. In war, you have to know how to cheat. If you are capable, you have to pretend to be incapable. If you want to take action, you have to pretend not to take action. When approaching the enemy, you have to make the enemy feel that you are very far away. When you are far away from the enemy, you have to make the enemy feel that you are very close. Among battle formations, the necessary disguise can make the enemy hallucinate and make a wrong judgment. As the saying goes, all is fair in war. As a commander, you are actually very ordinary. Attack. Kill all of them. The human cultivators? The cultivators of the city of origin? Swish. 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 In an instant, billions of strands of hair appeared in the void, like infinite beams of light spreading out in the void. Nearly 200 peak level late stage star transformation realm and perfected star transformation realm. Cultivators of the city of origin were pierced through. Ha ha ha. Watch me on a killing spree. Lu Qianxi stepped out of the void. Anyone who was pierced by the hair felt that something was growing in their bodies the next moment. But in the blink of an eye, the bodies of these people began to sprout. Their flesh and blood were passively resisting the power of life crazily growing. Few of the 200 people could dodge Lu Qianxi's attack. A monarch? No, you are not the human emperor. At that moment, and Lu Dao was shocked. The person who came was not a strong master of the human race, but a demon plant at the Dao proving level. This was clearly not the human emperor. Someone was shocked. The human race has a second monarch. Not good. Disperse and evacuate now. However, Luo Xiaobai's voice echoed in all directions, since you're already here, why are you in a hurry to leave? Since you've declared war, this will be your last resting place. The strong masters of the human race were all shocked. Is this their war, Commander? Such a way of appearance really caught them by surprise. People didn't know much about Lu Qianxi, but it didn't mean that no one knew him. When these people saw that it was a monarch who personally took action, they knew that the human race would definitely win this battle. Although Lu Qianxi had been staying around Hanfei and didn't seem to cultivate much, it didn't mean that he wasn't strong. It was just that Han Fei's strength completely covered up his brilliance. At this moment, Lu Qianxi unexpectedly pierced through the 203 people of the city of origin on the spot as if it were a game. And Lu Dao went crazy. It was not because there were too many people killed on his side, but because he was shocked to find that the human race had one more monarch the moment Lu Qianxi showed up. God's arrival technique. A few of the strong masters in the city of origin began to use the God's arrival technique. Although their God's arrival technique was no longer effective because of the disappearance of their great monarch, they had no choice but to try it when faced with a monarch realm strong master. Unfortunately, in the end, no powerful force fell on them. The God's arrival technique was to borrow the power of the strong. When Tianming was still here, as a great monarch-level powerhouses, he could indeed lend power to them. But now, Tianming had died, and the strongest person in the city of origin was only the puppet and Belan. And Belan had even sacrificed himself, so how could he lend them power? Those who performed the God's arrival technique became Lu Qianxi's second target. The billions of hairs intertwined in the void. In the past, in the storm Quicksand Sea, Lu Qianxi had controlled and killed countless mind demons with this move. At this moment, it was no exception. In the blink of an eye, more than 30 people were pierced through. Even if they had soul-suppressing godly weapons, it was useless. While Lu Qianxi controlled her power to restrain them, Luo Xiaobai had already summoned spiritual plants in their bodies to devour their qi and blood. The soul-suppressing godly weapon could only suppress souls, but the destruction of the body was extremely dangerous in such a battle. Besides, the city of origin was not like the lava giants. It was impossible for every one of the hundreds of thousands of sky openers to have a soul-suppressing godly weapon. Otherwise, how many godly weapons would the city of origin have? Therefore, in this round of attacks by Lu Qianxi, 238 people were pierced and 213 people had their star beads shattered and died on the spot. The remaining people only held on for a while longer. Luo Xiaobai said, "Human sky openers, listen up. Kill all the heavily injured cultivators of the city of origin." Hearing that, the human cultivators all roared, "Brothers, kill them. Kill. Whoever offends our human race must be killed." Just now, they thought that they were doomed today, but who knew that the tables would turn so quickly? This newly appointed war commander not only lured the enemy in and caught the city of origin off guard, but also showed them the ability of a war commander. The only thing they didn't understand was why didn't the monarch fight at the very beginning if he would attack anyway? Seeing this, and Lu Dao knew that it was impossible for his sneak attack to succeed, but he had to tell the others that a second monarch had appeared in the human race. Everyone, retreat. Whoever escapes must inform our city of the news that the Human race has a second monarch. Swish. 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 After all, they were all in the peak-level late-stage star transformation realm or perfected star transformation realm. Lu Qianxi could kill more than 200 people with a sneak attack, but in a head-on battle, it was almost impossible to kill more than 300 strong masters of this level. Although a Dao prover was strong, it wasn't that strong. Therefore, about 580 of the nearly 600 people quickly retreated. Lu Qianxi shouted, "Don't run. Hey, why am I the only one attacking? If Master is here, none of them can escape." Luo Xiaobai just said calmly, "If he were here, I'm afraid we wouldn't even have been able to find a piece of wreckage." "Go after them. Someone will cooperate with you." "Cooperate with me?" Just as Lu Qianxi was full of doubts, darkness gradually enveloped the rear of the human race. The fleeing cultivators of the city of origin all disappeared into the darkness. Ah! Accompanied by a shrill scream, none of the cultivators of the city of origin who were enveloped in the darkness could come out. And Liu Dao's face changed in shock. "That's impossible. Why would the undead be here?" Puff. And Lu Dao lowered his head in confusion, only to see a white bone extending out of his chest. He felt that his infinite vitality seemed to have been extracted by someone at once. Then, a creepy voice rang in his ears, "He he he. This is just the beginning." Lu Qianxi was chasing dozens of people, only to see that those people were enveloped by the black fog. The screams coming one after another made Lu Qianxi's scalp tingle. At that moment, he saw a black-robed man sucking in Lu Dao into a dried corpse. More importantly, the other party was clearly stronger than him. He definitely had the strength of the carefree level. The black-robed man turned around and waved at him gently. "It's been a pleasure to cooperate for the first time. Please tell the war commander of the human race that the immortal temple will deliver the refined stars he wants to him within 10 days. As for the corpses of these people, we'll take them away." Lu Qianxi said, "Ah. Okay." Lu Qianxi was a little scared. He watched the man in black dragon Lu Dao into the black fog, and then the black fog gradually dissipated. The strong masters of the city of origin were nowhere to be seen. Lu Qianxi shivered and quickly ran back. When he saw Luo Xiaobai, before he could say anything, Luo Xiaobai said in advance, "The people of the city of origin have been executed. Now everyone, please lead all the human beings in the front line to participate in the battle and start a head-on battle. Within a day, I want the entire city of origin to be crushed." Ah, they were executed so easily? Those are all cultivators in the peak level late-stage star transformation realm or the perfected star transformation realm. Is Monarch Qianxi so powerful? I never heard of his name before. The strength of a monarch is indeed extraordinary. Han Yu shouted, "Now, take the order and set off." Immediately, everyone agreed. "Commander, we will definitely complete the mission." Except for those who were still besieging the heavily injured cultivators of the city of origin, the others immediately mobilized their troops. For a time, voices rose and fell in the human camp. "Assault battalion, assemble and be ready to attack. Charging battalion, gather. The war has begun. Let's go. Whetstone battalion, gather up. Hurry up." For a moment, all the warriors in the rear of the human race, be it sea establisher, venerable, or explorer, were mobilized. There were more than 30 million of them in total. At this moment, Lu Chanxi came to Luo Xiaobai and said with a scared expression, "It's terrifying. I saw infinite death energy." The people from the city of origin were all enveloped. And Lu Dao was also a Dao lock level powerhouse, but in the blink of an eye, he turned into dried meat. Have we really cooperated with the Immortal Temple? Luo Xiaobai asked, "Didn't you see everything?" Lu Chanxi said, "I just feel that these people are evil. Even if it were me. If I were enveloped by that death aura, I would probably only have a dry trunk left when I came out. And I think I heard you say that these guys are waging war everywhere. Are these really good people?" Luo Xiaobai said indifferently, "There are no absolute good and bad people. The undead have their own goals when they start a war. We also have our own goals when we start a war. On a certain level, there is no conflict between us. As for the evilness of these people, it's not our human race who should be afraid, but our enemies." Han Fei and Luo Xiaobai discussed cooperation with the Immortal Temple for a long time. Originally, Luo Xiaobai didn't know the purpose of the Immortal Temple's war and thought that they were evil. However, when Luo Xiaobai clearly knew that the three temples maintained uniformity in resisting the ominous, she put down her prejudice against the Immortal Temple. Although the war waged by the Immortal Temple had caused too many people to die, in fact, not all the people who died had truly died. It was possible that they had transformed into undead creatures. Secondly, the cultivators of the myriad races who fought against the undead had gained a lot in the war, and their strength and realm had improved. Therefore, Luo Xiaobai made a hypothesis. If there was no Immortal Temple in this world, what would the Sea Realm be like? The answer was that the Sea Realm would fall into even crazier chaos because there were too many strong masters in the Sea Realm, and the reason why they could become strong was that they kept training, fighting, and growing. If one wanted to continue to obtain this kind of training, he had to have a suitable whetstone and target to kill. Without the Immortal Temple, this growth might very well evolve into a conflict between the various factions, a battle between the various races, or even a war between the 5 divine realms. After all, in the Sea Realm, many creatures could no longer be called sea demons. Everyone was one of the myriad races. Why should I be a sea demon and you are not? Therefore, the myriad races needed an enemy, and the ominous was too far away from them, so it was unrealistic to make an enemy of the ominous. As for the Immortal Temple, they insisted on going against the myriad races and attacked and killed everywhere like a meat grinder of the myriad races. Therefore, they naturally became the myriad race's common enemy. From this perspective, the Sea Realm really couldn't do without the Immortal Temple. And the Immortal Temple might not be as evil as everyone thought. It could even be said that they were shouldering the incomprehension and disdain of all races to do a great thing. This was also the reason why Han Fei didn't really kill Yi Qi when he first saw him. Since the 3 temples existed, there must be a reason for their existence. Otherwise, there might have been a war between the 3 temples long ago. On the other side, just as in Lu Dao and the others were about to die, Han Fei took action. Even though En Yi and the others had used the heavenly cicada wings and secret techniques to keep up, the 100 or so people's lives were being harvested at a speed visible to the naked eye. In the eyes of Yue and the others, Han Fei hadn't even moved when the powerhouses of the city of origin were pierced through between their eyebrows. One after another, with their soul-suppressing godly weapons and star bead, shattered together. In a moment, these 150 people were all killed. The human race wasn't surprised at all, since Master Human Emperor had personally taken action. Even monarchs would be killed, not to mention that these people were only in the sky-opening realm. After dealing with these people, Han Fei smiled faintly. It's almost time. With that, Han Fei waved his hand, and some flesh and blood appeared. Under the light of the Heaven Enlightenment divine technique, the flesh and blood turned into human shapes in the blink of an eye. These were the people who had faked death just now. They seemed to have perished, but in fact, it was just that their great daos were severed. Their body's strength wasn't great. However, as long as they had enough resources, they could rebuild their bodies at will. Therefore, as long as they didn't truly die, it wouldn't be a problem to revive them. After these people rebuilt their bodies, the first thing they saw was Han Fei. Immediately, everyone hurriedly bowed. Greetings, Master Human Emperor. Master Human Emperor, why are you here? They didn't know what happened yet, but soon, those who hadn't died quickly told them what had happened. Everybody was shocked. One of them bowed to Han Fei. Master Human Emperor, before I faked death, I didn't know that all of this was a trap set by you and the commander, nor did I know that it was for our own good to cut off our great daos. I'm sorry, Master Human Emperor. I'm willing to punish myself. Han Fei chuckled. Punish my ass. Your war commander wants you to learn a lesson. You shouldn't randomly walk on some messy road, although you've opened the sky. Even if you want to walk on a road, you have to walk on something different. Look at what you've all walked on. Body refiners cultivated illusion techniques. Those walking on the Tao of balance cultivated the path of berserker. Do you think you haven't died quickly enough? Also, those walking on the Tao of strength. Why did you cultivate the Tao of soul? If you really want to walk on this path, ask me. If I don't teach you a lesson, I'm afraid you'll make mistakes again. For a moment, everyone blushed. Yes, these great daos were all randomly thought out by them. They didn't know themselves enough, thinking that it was a sign of talent if they had embarked on a different great Tao, so they didn't explore whether it was feasible or not, but wanted to keep that great Tao as a trump card. At this moment, they were ashamed. Yes, Master Human Emperor was devoted to the people. How could he covet anything from them? In terms of cultivation, Master Human Emperor was definitely stronger than them. What were they thinking back then? Han Fei said, let's go. The sky-opening realm battle in the front line should have ended. A head-on battle should have started now. Come on, let's take a look. A head-on battle? Han Fei thought for a moment and explained to them, there are too many sky openers in the city of origin. We don't expect you to fight them blindly. Fighting will only cause the strength of the human race to decline again. What you're going to fight is a war below the sky-opening realm. By the time Han Fei arrived at the front-line battlefield, the first super large-scale frontal battlefield between the human race and the city of origin had already begun. At this moment, even Luo Xiaobai was gone from the human war command. It wasn't until Han Fei came to the front-line battlefield and spread out his perception that he saw Luo Xiaobai standing on the top of a mountain, quietly watching the current war, Lu Xian and Yu Jiaojiao standing behind her. When Han Fei arrived, the two of them quickly retreated. Han Fei said, this is even more magnificent than when we were on the Scattered Stars Island. I wonder how many people will die in the battle of. More than 60 million people. Luo Xiaobai said calmly, if the human race wants to rise, sacrifices are inevitable. You can lead the human race into the sea realm, but you can't grow. On behalf of the human race. All the sacrifices now are telling them that the powerful human race today has not come easy. To protect this human race, they need to constantly grow and face all kinds of enemies. Han Fei was also a little emotional. Yes. If we want the human race to rise, you and I have to be ruthless. Only the human race that survives in a group of enemies can be considered a powerful human race. Xiaobai, it's great that you're back. The corners of Luo Xiaobai's mouth curled up slightly. I can't let you take care of everything alone. Lu Renquang and Zhang Xuanyu know it too. Everyone who went out with us in the past knows it. But they can't come back now. Because they know that even if they come back now, it's meaningless. However, they will come back eventually. The human race is their home. Han Fei said, this battle will be very fierce. Luo Xiaobai said, if it's not tragic, how can it arouse the fighting intent in the bones of the entire human race? The two of them looked at the battlefield and didn't say anything else. On the battlefield, the sound of fighting shook the sky. Although the human race's sky openers were far stronger than those in the city of origin, these people wouldn't take action. This was a battle below the sky opening realm. On the battlefield of the Venerables, a human venerable was being entangled by a venerable from the Yin family. The other party was very fast. Although this person had tried his best to catch the other party, he couldn't even touch a corner of the other party's clothes. After fighting for more than 30 seconds. At this moment, this person was already covered in wounds. There were no less than 1,000 wounds on his body. Bam! He finally couldn't hold on anymore. He supported himself on one knee with one hand and his other hand was badly mutilated. In many places of this hand, his bones were exposed. Puff! At this moment, the cultivator from the Yin family had already cut open half of his body and severed his other arm. In such a situation, he already couldn't be revived. The other party wouldn't give him a chance to be reborn with blood. However, this person suddenly raised his head, and a blood arrow spurted out of his mouth, pouring all his vitality into his sword. The Yin family cultivator wanted to retreat, but he found that this person had clamped his long sword with his flesh and blood. After only an instant of hesitation, this blood arrow struck his face. The Yin family cultivator's entire body exploded. Before he died, the only thought in his heart was that I am clearly stronger than him, but why? Pfft. The human cultivator vomited a mouthful of blood, dragged his heavy body, and cursed, son of AB****, you can hurt me 1,000,000 times, but if I catch you once, you'll be doomed. Of course, there were people who could see this scene, but they couldn't help. Because they couldn't even protect themselves. It was different from when they were fighting the 10,000 scale race. At that time, the 10,000 scale race's morale had collapsed, and the heavenly Tao cracks representing their monarch's death stimulated their hearts. They thought that they were going to die. And in that battle, the human race had much more people than the 10,000 scale race, so the human race had an absolute victory. However, today's battle was different. This time, although the human race's soldiers might be millions more than that of the city of origin, the human race's strength was only improved after they entered the sea realm. Although they had Han Fei's various great arts and techniques, they were still a little powerless in the face of the strong masters of the city of origin. For example, a venerable level heavenly talent from a city of origin had already killed 17 humans in a row. He shouted, "Come on, you slaves! How dare you plot against our city of origin? Dream on. Let's see who can stop me from killing 100 humans today. F*CKU. Who are you calling a slave? F*CK, I'm gonna kill you. Kill." The heavenly talent of the city of origin activated a soul technique, and a soul sword tore through the air, accompanied by the sound of a cicada, too. Humans who rushed over instantly bled from their 7 orifices. In an instant, they were killed on the spot. Damn it. Old Black. I'll avenge you. Someone still wanted to rush up, but his shoulder was suddenly pressed down by a palm. The man looked back and saw a sturdy girl. His first reaction was that the girl's face didn't match her body. "Leave him to me." The girl was holding a war hammer in her hand. There was no telling how heavy it was, but the backhand hammer seemed to be super light in her hand. The girl pointed at the heavenly talent from the city of origin and said indifferently, "I've already hammered 48 people from the city of origin to death. You will be the 49th. Heh. Where's this big woman from? Are all human women so ugly?" Chirp. As he spoke, he condensed sound waves into a sword and activated the heavenly cicada chant. The young man grinned ferociously. In his realm, there were less than 10 people who could block his heavenly cicada chant. How could a mere human girl resist it? Roar. But in the next moment, the burly girl roared, and 100 beasts rampaged in the field, kicking the void. A raging bull bore the brunt of the attack and bumped into the soul sword. Crack, bam. In the next moment, the heavenly cicada chant was shattered by a single blow. As the 100 beasts roared, the young man from the city of origin vomited blood. Chirp. The young man's expression changed drastically. He really didn't expect this person's soul power to be so strong when her body was so burly. However, this person couldn't be without shortcomings. With a strong physique and soul, her speed might be very slow. The heavenly cicada wings were activated, and the person disappeared in the blink of an eye. At this time, electric arcs flashed on the hammer in the burly girl's hand. She suddenly jumped up, and within a radius of 100 miles, electric arcs flashed, and thunder rumbled in the sky. Treasure image lightning hammer. Bang! A figure in the void trembled under the electric arcs that filled the sky, and his wings were broken. In the next moment, a lightning hammer fell from the sky. Bang! The young man didn't have time to cry for help before he was hit by the hammer. He instantly turned into a mist of blood. The blood mist was enveloped by the lightning and evaporated in an instant. The human cultivators nearby, and even the cultivators from the city of origin, were all dumbfounded. Is this woman really a human? The burly girl's gaze swept across the battlefield. The heavenly talents of the city of origin can't withstand a single blow. In the distance, Luo Xiaobai, who was watching the battle, said, "Xiao Xiao is a bit like you. She seems to be growing very fast." Han Fei said, "Xiao Xiao's bloodline has atavism. She was born with great strength and talent. So far, Xiao Xiao is the most talented child I've met in this generation of humans. It must be because senior brother Dashui's Bloodline has already had a bit atavism, so Xiao Xiao has extraordinary talent. Since she was born. In fact, it was not just Han Fei and the others who were watching the battle. In the City of Wanderers, a large number of strong masters were also watching the battle. For example, Xingyu and Duan Qingxi were among them. Xingyu said, "These people are too fierce. They're really risking their lives. Even if the human race wins this battle, I'm afraid their casualties will reach nearly 30%. Duan Qingxi said, "It's not easy to make such a decision. Those who make the decision will probably be subject to criticism. But it can't be helped. The human race grows too fast, but speed alone is useless. They need corresponding training. And where else can temper people best besides the battlefield?" Xingyu nodded. "That's true. These people are quite fierce and fearless. Are the combat skills of the human race so good? According to this crazy fighting style, I'm afraid this battle will be over in 3 days at most." Duan Qingxi shook her head slightly. 2 days at most. If the human race maintains this high intensity and crazy fighting method, the people of the City of Origin will be routed and flee in a day at most. Besides, the number of human cultivators is greater. They can easily take out 37 million people. Even if there is a realm gap between the two sides, they can't withstand numerical suppression. Half a day after the battle began, the people of the City of Origin who were fighting had obvious dislocations in their array battle techniques. This was because at some point, someone had attacked from their rear, causing some of the cultivators in the City of Origin to return to reinforce them. Then, these cultivators never returned, leading to the disarray of the front line. Another half a day passed. Chu Lingyu and Wen Ruqing had returned, and almost both of them were covered in blood. Obviously, they had killed too many people. Chu Lingyu said, "Commander, Master Human Emperor, the headquarters of the City of Origin has been destroyed. We killed a total of 39 Sky Openers and 3 Sea Establishment Realm armies, a total of 60,000 people." Luo Xiaobai nodded slightly. "Well done. After all, this was the first battle of many human cultivators." Luo Xiaobai didn't want to see the casualties of the human race soar to 30 to 40%. After all, more than 3 million people would die in this battle if the casualty rate was 10%. If 30 or even 40% died, it meant that nearly 10 million people would die on this battlefield. Therefore, Luo Xiaobai's decapitation plan was to help the people in the war create some mental disruption, such as messing with the enemy's heart or raising their own morale. Luo Xiaobai suddenly spoke, her voice resounding in all directions. "Humans. The headquarters of the City of Origin has been destroyed by our strong masters, and their peak-level combatants in the rear are all killed. Now, please show us all your means, and survive this battle." In a head-on battle, all methods were the manifestation of strength. Some were smart and good at killing enemies, some had strong physiques and unparalleled bravery, some had strong souls and often took enemies by surprise in battle. Some developed in a balanced manner and had many methods. But in either case, those who could survive in a head-on battle couldn't be weak. This was because the pure weak had no chance of survival on the battlefield. For a moment, the human army was greatly shocked. On the other hand, the confidence of the strong masters in the City of Origin was shaken because no one came out to refute the rumors. Besides, why did these humans have so many spiritual fruits to eat when they were tired? What they didn't know was that there was a large supply of spiritual fruits in the human frontline command center. The spiritual fruits could be exchanged with battlefield points, and some were brought from the cities and kept until now by the cultivators themselves. For example, someone lost too much blood and was dispirited. He took out a spiritual fruit and stuffed it into his mouth. In the next moment, his chi and blood began to fill up. It was not that the people in the city of origin didn't have such things, but there were relatively few of them. They mostly used pills. Finally, after the 18th hour of the head-on battle, the city of origin finally showed signs of widespread rout. This sign marked the human race's final victory in the war between them and the city of origin. But these escapees didn't know that their escape route had long been blocked. Luo Xiaobai had already blocked all their escape routes at the beginning of the battle. Luo Xiaobai said, "Let's go." The only significance of victory on the front line battlefield is sacrifice, to awaken the fighting spirit in the bones of the human race. But the sacrifice of the human race will not be in vain. Let's go. I need you to accompany me to the city of origin. There were more than 600 sky-opening realm cultivators following Luo Xiaobai and Han Fei to the city of origin. Because Han Fei was here, they were fearless. Of course, now there was another person they respected in their hearts, who was Luo Xiaobai. They didn't really admire or worship her. They even felt that they couldn't understand this human war commander at all. They felt that their victory in the front-line battle was mostly because of the help of strong masters. When they thought of the scene of the rear command post of the human race that in 6 had suddenly appeared with more than 800 people in the sky-opening realm, they felt a chill down their spines. At this moment, Luo Xiaobai said that she would take everyone to the city of origin. Everyone was puzzled. This was because today's war had declared a true war between the human race and the city of origin. Since the war had officially started, why would they go to the city of origin with so few people? Were they looking for a fight? However, Han Fei didn't object to Luo Xiaobai's proposal, so no one would object. With Han Fei around, they felt safe. They also wanted to see what Luo Xiaobai wanted to do. Several days later, the Elder Council of the City of Origin was already in a mess. Someone said solemnly, "City Lord, after the war started at the front line, we sent out 300-person teams in the sky-opening realm in a row, but they were all wiped out. The soldiers mobilized by the human race this time is probably far beyond our imagination." At this moment, someone said respectfully to the puppet and villain, "City Lord, all the people in the front line have died in battle. Regardless of whether the beheading plan succeeds or not, I'm afraid the human race is going to launch a full-scale war against us this time. City Lord, if we really start a full-scale war with the human race, the city of wanderers will definitely take advantage of the situation. Although we have a large number of sky-opening realm cultivators returning, no matter how many sky-opening realm cultivators we have, they aren't as intimidating as monarchs." The Elder Council had been holding a meeting for several days. Someone said, "City Lord, according to the news from the front line, the strength of the human race's sky-openers is generally low. Most of them haven't entered the star transformation realm. How can such a group of sky-openers break through our front line? The human emperor have probably personally taken action." And Belan said coldly, "They are no longer satisfied with testing us." Someone said solemnly, "If great monarch Tianming still doesn't return, City Lord, you may have to face 2 monarchs alone. Can you handle them? Humph. Puppet and Balan's face was cold as he snorted coldly, and the people below were all silent. After a long time, Puppet and Balan said, "Our war with the human race and the city of wanderers will start sooner or later. Now, it's just a little early. Now, we have an advantage, that is, the number of our sky opening realm cultivators far exceeds the total number of the sky openers of the human race and the city of wanderers, even more than 10 times their number." Suddenly, the Puppet and Balan frowned and looked out of the city of origin. "The elders?" With a solemn expression, and Balan said coldly, "The human emperor is here." Hiss. For a moment, the elders of the city of origin looked at each other in bewilderment. Could it be that the human emperor had come knocking on their door? And Balan shouted in a low voice, "Gather all the sky-opening realm cultivators and follow me to meet this so-called human emperor." The human sky openers followed Luo Xiaobai and Han Fei without any fear at all. But when they arrived outside the city of origin, they saw 150,000 sky opening realm cultivators standing majestically in formations in the sky. Gulp. The 622 human powerhouses all swallowed saliva. They were not afraid, but shocked. So many sky openers. Every one of them seems to be very strong. Hong Yu said, "Each of them has reached the peak level late-stage star transformation realm, which means that there are at least 150,000 peak level late-stage star transformation realm cultivators here. It's hard to tell how many of them have reached the perfected star transformation realm." Someone thought to himself, faced with such a strong enemy, if the monarchs didn't take action, what could they use to fight the enemy? Not to mention the 150,000 peak-level late-stage star transformation realm cultivators, even if there were only 150 of them, with a total of less than 2,000 new sky openers. They might not be able to resist. But at this moment, everyone sighed in their hearts. When they were on the frontline battlefield, the city of origin really didn't use their full strength. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been able to survive a round of attacks. In front of the 150,000 sky openers, there was a small group of people, led by the Puppet and Balan. Of course, although it was Han Fei's own puppet, he still had to put on an act. After all, Luo Xiaobai had done so many things just to put on this show. And Balan, the puppet, spoke first, "Human emperor and war commander of the human race, you dare to come to our city of origin with only 600 people? Do you really think our city of origin can't keep you here?" Han Fei sneered. "I dare to come here today because I want to see if you dare to make me stay. We've fought. You should know that you can't make me stay. Then I'd like to see if anyone in your city of origin can make me stay. I want to bet on it, so I'm here." The puppet and Balan's face sank. As for the elders, their hearts trembled. It's over. This human emperor is really impatient. He's already using himself to test the city of origin. Now, it was unknown whether the great monarch was dead or alive, and Balan was the strongest person in the clan. Judging from the human emperor's tone, he wasn't afraid of Balan at all. This let the elders know that this matter had become serious. The fact that their great monarch wasn't in the clan couldn't be hidden anymore. Not to mention the elders, even the expressions of many of the hundreds of thousands of sky openers had clearly changed. When they were sent back, the great monarch was still in the chaotic ice domain, but when they returned, they heard the heavenly cicada's sad cry. This made them lose their backbone. Fortunately, and Balan's return made them realize that the heavenly cicada clan still had a monarch, and the great monarch might still be alive. But today, the human race had come to their door. If they couldn't keep them here, the consequences would be disastrous. After a moment of silence, and Balan slowly said, even if great monarch Tianming can't take action for the time being, how dare your human race, a group of weaklings who haven't even entered the star transformation realm, make an enemy of our city of origin? This time, Luo Xiaobai stood up and said, I'm Luo Xiaobai, the war commander of the human race. It's not up to you whether we can be enemies with your city of origin or not. Let's meet on the battlefield. A few days ago, your city of origin gathered 1,000 peak-level late-stage star transformation realm and perfected star transformation realm cultivators to destroy the front line of our human race. Although I've killed all of them, this behavior is equivalent to declaring war on our human race. Since your city of origin has already declared war, how can our human race not respond? Here, no matter if the great monarch of your city of origin is seriously injured or dead, he won't be able to take action anyway. In that case, after the tidal wave, the city of origin is prepared to welcome the wrath of our human race. For a moment, someone from the elders of the city of origin said to Balan, via voice transmission, City Lord, since they've sent themselves to us, keep them here. If we let them go, there will be endless trouble in the future. That's right, City Lord. Great monarch Tianming can't take action now, but this is our chance. City Lord. And Balan suddenly turned around and glanced at the group of elders, and everyone immediately shut up. Han Fei smiled casually. There's no need for a voice transmission. Since I dare to come here today, how can I be afraid of a battle? And Balan, do you want to fight me? Behind Han Fei, the faces of the human cultivators didn't change on the surface, but they were all puzzled in their hearts. They had no chance to beat the people of the city of origin this time. What was the human emperor up to? And Balan, on the other hand, said lightly, those who think they can fight, step out. Instantly, nearly 10,000 of the 150,000 people stepped out. The reason why they stepped out was that they really didn't think the human race could win. With so few human cultivators and such strength, it was only a matter of one or several rounds of attacks. Why didn't they dare to fight such a battle? Besides, they thought that even if they didn't fight today, they would fight the human race in the future. Besides, today was their home ground. With the hundreds of thousands of brothers behind them and the city lord around, they might fall into some kind of trap, but they probably wouldn't die. As long as they took action, they would know if the human race was bluffing. The rest of the people were smarter. They thought that Han Fei was too strong to use such a low-level trick. If he didn't use it well, the losses would be too great. Therefore, they concluded that Han Fei wasn't bluffing but had some special methods. And Balan said, 1,000 people have stepped out. Okay, now enter the arena and fight. 1,000 perfected star transformation realm cultivators stepped out, and Balan stepped out and confronted Han Fei from a distance. Among the people present, only Han Fei and Luo Xiaobai knew that this was just a show. The others were all nervous at this moment, especially the humans. They had no idea how to fight this battle. Kill. Since these people could reach the perfected star transformation realm, they were all swift and decisive and had their own judgment. Since they were going To fight, they would try to annihilate these people of the human race, including the war commander who had just reached the peak level late stage star transformation realm. However, in the next moment, a turtle shell rose into the sky, and then the 1,000 people disappeared in a layer of barrier. The mystic martial monarch. Armor could reveal the situation of the inside to the outside world or conceal the situation of the inside, which was up to Han Fei. Immediately, the pupils of the elders of the city of origin and the sky opening realm army were all constricted. It was indeed a trap. However, this was the city of origin. Was it really fine for the human race to set up a trap so blatantly? The moment the mystic martial monarch armor appeared and Belan and Han Fei disappeared at the same time. Immediately afterward, in the sky, fist lights flashed and cicadas chirped. Bang! Energy raged in the void for 100,000 kilometers. The strong masters from the city of origin who were considering whether to support them were forced to temporarily stay in a defensive state under the sudden impact. Besides, the city of origin was behind them. In addition to defending themselves, they also had to protect the city of origin. There was nothing they could do. The Monarch Realm battle was too close to them, so they couldn't attack immediately. In fact, when monarchs fought, the power of the law dissipated, and no ordinary people could intervene. At the same time, in the turtle shell sky sealing technique, the 1,000 strong masters in the perfected star transformation realm were about to launch a charge, when suddenly, a void opening appeared in this world, and a magical void passage connected to an unknown area. In the next moment, under the surprised gaze of Luo Xiaobai and the human cultivators, a golden hook extended out of the huge void passage. This hook was extremely huge and was thousands of kilometers long. No one could see who was caught by the hook. On the city of origin's side, the 1,000 strong masters in the perfected star transformation realm stiffened. At the same time, then, they were pulled into the mysterious channel by the huge hook, including that piece of void. In less than 3 seconds, how could there be a sky-opening realm cultivator from the city of origin here? What's that? I felt numb just now. What kind of method is this? With a single hook, 1,000 perfected star transformation realm cultivators were hooked away. Even fishing is not like this. Commander, what is this? Luo Xiaobai was also in a daze. In fact, at first, she told Han Fei that it was enough for the two of them to come. This was because their main purpose here was to expose the death of the great monarch of the city of origin. They could expose this matter, but it couldn't be revealed by the puppet in Belan. Otherwise, it might affect their subsequent plans. However, Han Fei said that he wanted to put on a perfect show and let these new sky openers of the human race see the world. That was why this scene happened. Luo Xiaobai felt that she had seen a big scene. She said, "I'll tell you when it's time. Now put away your shocked and stunned expressions." After only 10 seconds, Han Fei and Belan returned to their positions. It seemed that neither of them could defeat the other. Han Fei grinned and said, "The city of origin is really generous to give me the corpses of 1,000 perfected star transformation realm cultivators. I really appreciate it." The surface of the turtle shell sky sealing technique was glowing, revealing what was inside. All the human sky openers were still standing there, and Luo Xiaobai was standing in front of them, but the 1,000 perfected star transformation realm cultivators just now had disappeared. Seeing this scene, all the strong masters of the city of origin constricted their pupils and felt their scalps tingle. It must be noted that that was 1,000 perfected star transformation realm cultivators. Even if they faced a monarch head-on, they could fight back. It was just that they couldn't kill a monarch. However, such a terrifying force was gone in just 10 seconds after entering the turtle shell barrier. This was simply impossible. Even the human cultivators behind Luo Xiaobai couldn't believe it if they didn't see it. They had seen the entire process, so they knew that these people weren't gone in 10 seconds, but 3 seconds. They had just recovered in these 10 seconds. And Belan's expression changed drastically. Her first reaction was to turn around and shout, "Everyone, stand separately. Don't gather together." At that moment, the sky openers of the city of origin all dodged when they heard this. God knew if there would be another such barrier suddenly enveloping them. Then he heard Belan say, "Impossible. You definitely don't have the ability to kill so many perfected star transformation realm cultivators in such a short period of time." Han Fei grinned and said, "How did you know?" And Belan asked, "There are no great Dao cracks. Where did you transfer them to?" Han Fei shrugged. "Why should I tell you? Anyway, they will never come back. Do you want to try again?" After that, Han Fei put away the mystic martial monarch armor and said, indifferently, "The war between the human race and the city of origin has officially begun. Enjoy the last piece before the tidal wave." Under the gazes of Belan and countless strong masters of the city of origin, Han Fei and Luo Xiaobai calmly led the more than 600 human beings to disappear from their vision. It wasn't until they completely disappeared from sight that someone from the elders said, "City Lord, what should we do now? This human emperor doesn't look simple." Someone said in a panic, "City Lord, they won the bet. If they go back and collude with the city of wanderers, I'm afraid we'll have to face the joint attack of 2 monarchs after the tidal wave. City Lord, why don't we move as soon as possible before the tidal wave comes?" These elders all panicked. The means Han Fei had shown today was too unbelievable. 1,000 perfected star transformation realm cultivators were gone so easily. Who wouldn't panic when faced with this? As for whether Han Fei would attack them before the tidal wave, they didn't think so. They knew that there must be a limit to Han Fei's unbelievable methods, or the city of origin would have been gone. Therefore, Han Fei could only trick some people, but he couldn't destroy the city of origin with such a method. Since they couldn't quickly destroy the city of origin, the human race wouldn't take action before the tidal wave. After all, the human race had to transcend the tidal wave themselves. The puppet and Belan's face was cold as he shouted, "Inform everyone that the 13 cities under the jurisdiction of the city of origin will all move to the vicinity of the city of origin. We will have a tough battle to fight. In addition, activate the city protecting array. Before the tidal wave comes, no one is allowed to leave the city of origin except for those with special missions." At last, elders continue their meeting, and all sky openers return to the camp and be on standby at any time. On the way back, Han Fei and the others didn't rush. Han Fei said, "When we return to the battlefield, the battle over there should be almost over. This trip is complete. After the tidal wave, there will be a bloody battle." Luo Xiaobai nodded slightly and paused. "What's the hook exactly? Is it the attack of a powerhouse from the Void Temple?" Han Fei shook his head slightly. No, it's a very hungry great monarch. He often sends me messages saying that he's very hungry, so I took this opportunity to prepare some food for him. Luo Xiaobai said, "You're talking nonsense again." Han Fei smiled casually. His name is God of War, a strong master trapped in the Sea of Stars. Luo Xiaobai nodded slightly. This made sense. The strength of a great monarch was naturally not something she could understand at this moment, not even Han Fei now. Luo Xiaobai said, "In the end, it's not your own power. You'd better not use this inhuman power randomly in the future. More importantly, it's 1,000 perfected star transformation realm cultivators. From them, we can have a lot of refined stars and modified stars." Han Fei. While Han Fei and Luo Xiaobai were chatting, Hong Yu and the others behind them were all holding back their curiosity. Finally, when they paused, Hong Yu asked, "Well, Master Human Emperor, Commander Luo, what was going on just now?" In their opinion, Han Fei and Luo Xiaobai didn't seem to have done anything except show off their strength. Did they come all the way here just to show off? Was it a new way to declare war? Han Fei and Luo Xiaobai looked back and saw that everyone was looking at them in confusion. Han Fei couldn't help but look at Luo Xiaobai and then said, "Can you explain to them?" Luo Xiaobai said, "All of this starts from the signal sent to the city of Origin when I took over as the war commander of the human race. The human emperor said that I would be the second person of the human race to prove Tao. This was the cause. Because of the cause, the city of Origin ambushed me. The human emperor pretended to be me to hide my whereabouts, not because he was afraid that I would be killed in the ambush, but to take the opportunity of the city of Origin's ambush to pretend to mobilize the combat power of the human race's front line, creating the illusion that the human race's front line command headquarters was empty, and baiting the city of Origin. As for why this trap was set up, you can figure it out yourselves." Luo Xiaobai didn't want to explain too much. She couldn't just say that she wanted to wipe out the high-end combat power of the city of Origin in one go and build a fair frontal battlefield to arouse the fighting spirit of the human race with the sacrifice of the human race, right? This sounded too cold-blooded, but it was the truth. As for why sacrifice was needed to arouse the fighting spirit of the human race, it was because a peaceful race couldn't survive in a complicated world like the Sea Realm. In the Sea Realm, no one would give you fairness. The wilderness of the East Sea Divine Realm spanned a long distance of 8 light-years, with an infinite wilderness of billions of kilometers, endless races, and countless sea creatures. Who would talk about fairness with anyone? This world was not beautiful in the first place, but a cruel world. But now, because of Han Fei's leadership, the human race was too smooth-sailing and had no idea what cruelty was. Therefore, Luo Xiaobai wanted to break their beautiful life and let them reacquaint themselves with this world. At this moment, the sacrifice of millions of people on the front line battlefield was just to pave the way for the battlefield after the tidal wave and give a warning to the human race in advance. Luo Xiaobai knew very well that as the human emperor, Han Fei couldn't do such a thing, so she did it. People might not understand her and might even blame her for being heartless. There were so many strong masters here, but she didn't ask them to do anything but watch millions of people die. But Luo Xiaobai didn't care. This was the responsibility of a commander, and this responsibility could make her feel better. After all, she had indeed watched millions of people die. There was no dispute about this. After following Han Fei for so long, Han Yu quickly figured it out. He asked. In confusion, then why did we come to the city of origin? Luo Xiaobai said indifferently, give them a way they think can help them turn defeat into victory. All you need to know is that after the tidal wave, the monarch and the hundreds of thousands of sky openers of the city of origin will disappear. That's enough. Will they all disappear? Hiss. Well. For a moment, everyone was stunned on the spot, clearly shocked. They really couldn't understand why so many strong masters would disappear. Luo Xiaobai and Han Fei continued to step in the void. Han Fei sighed. Slightly. You have indeed grown a lot. Perhaps many people can't understand you, but we can. Whenever you're tired, tell me. Luo Xiaobai didn't speak, but a smile appeared on her usually cold and indifferent face. Others might not feel it, but in Han Fei's eyes, the smile was especially bright. In the human race's cities, when Luo Xiaobai and the others returned triumphantly with all the warriors on the front-line battlefield, the entire human race was shocked. Because of Han Fei's personality, he definitely had to share the victory with everyone. Luo Xiaobai was supposed to explain this matter to the entire human race in person, but she wasn't used to Han Fei's habit, so she refused. Before the human army arrived, Han Fei's voice had already come. My fellow human beings, I am human Emperor Han Fei. When people heard this, they immediately chose to put down what they were doing. Han Fei hadn't talked to the entire human race like this for many years, but he had done it twice in a row recently. The first time was when Luo Xiaobai took office, and the second time was now. In the next moment, Han Fei's voice continued, under the lead of the war commander, Luo Xiaobai, the front-line battlefield launched the largest head-on battle against the city of origin in history. Our human race and the city of origin launched a super war with a total of more than 65 million soldiers. Our human warriors killed 1,203 sky openers, 68,312 sea establishers, 5 million venerables, and 21 million explorers of the city of origin, killing a total of more than 26 million enemies. We won a great victory. The last word, great victory, exploded in everyone's ears like thunder. Roar. Our human race is invincible. Awesome. This war commander has just taken office, but we have already won such a great victory. It's indeed unbelievable. Back then, there weren't so many strong masters in the entire raging sea. But now we've killed so many powerful enemies in a single war. Our human race has indeed risen. Of course, there were also people who were puzzled. Killed 1,203 sky openers of the city of origin? Is this real? There must be monarchs involved in the war. Someone agreed. It must be Master Human Emperor, or we couldn't have one so fast. After more than 10 seconds, when the entire human race was about to fall into ecstasy, Han Fei's voice sounded again, but this time, there was no joy in his voice. Han Fei's voice was slightly low. We won this war, but we also paid a huge price. In this battle, more than 26,862 sea establishers, nearly 1,300,000 venerables, and 8,200,000 explorers of our human race died. Yes, while we won, we also paid a heavy price. More than 20% of the frontline soldiers were killed. I'm very sad. For a moment, the people who were cheering just now couldn't laugh anymore. No matter how many enemies died, they didn't feel anything when they heard the number. When Han Fei destroyed the city of scavengers, not many humans died. But now, when they heard that nearly 10 million people from the human race had died, many people were no longer happy. Those were tens of millions of lives, living lives that had dreams and expectations like them. All these years, everyone knew that the human race was rising and thought that since Han Fei was around, they were invincible. But today, reality told them that nothing was as they imagined. Death was right before their eyes. War was right beside them. The 26,862 sea establishers, 1.3 million venerables, and even the 8.2 million explorers were all strong masters that many people dreamed of but couldn't become. But such a group of existences who were extremely powerful in their eyes completely disappeared in just a few days and were completely buried in this boundless wasteland. Some female cultivators and some weak cultivators couldn't help but shed tears. Han Fei's voice sounded again, low and firm. My fellow human beings, we entered the sea realm from the raging sea for the rise of the human race, and for the glorious future of the human race. But this path is definitely not as simple as you think. Today, we are facing a city of origin. Tomorrow, there will be countless cities of origin, and there are even enemies stronger than the city of origin waiting for us. We have no time to rest. We are not qualified to sink into today's peaceful life. Our human race is far from rising. The warriors in the front line can't sacrifice in vain. They were fighting for the better tomorrow of the human race. It wasn't easy for us to walk out of the raging sea and get a chance to become stronger. Therefore, no matter how powerful the enemy in front of us is, we have to flatten them, kill them, and destroy them. We have to build a brand new world for our juniors in this sea realm and give each of them a chance to open the sky and prove Tao. So, we don't have time to grieve. Han Fei paused for a moment and said firmly, after the tidal wave, it will be time for our human race to start a war with the city of origin. From today onwards, 1 billion soldiers will be recruited. The recruitment plan will be announced to the entire human race in 3 days. Not long after Han Fei's voice disappeared, the army passed through the sky. Accompanying them was overwhelming blood qi and killing intent. With the imperial city as the center, these people dispersed to the surrounding 300 cities. At this moment, in the various human cities, all kinds of discussions began to ferment. Someone said, tens of millions died in a war. How many people will die when the war between races begins? Is this really what we pursue? Someone scolded, ignorant. The raging sea is safe, but why didn't you stay there? Why did Master Human Emperor struggle so hard to find a way for us in the sea realm? It's all for the prosperity of our human race. Someone said, but if there are really so many enemies, how can we see them if we all die in battle? Someone sneered. Dying in battle means that you were eliminated by the sea realm. Why do you think so many people signed up to join the war? Everyone wants to become stronger, to hone themselves to become a true powerhouse. Which person's path to rise isn't filled with mountains of corpses and seas of blood? How many of you haven't read Master Human Emperor's biography? Is it easy for Master Human Emperor? A youth said, I want to participate in the battle. Although I'm only in the law enforcer realm, I want to participate in the battle. Someone berated, when is it your turn to fight? How can there be a law enforcer on the front line battlefield? The youth's tone was firm. What we will start is a war between races. I don't believe that the city of origin is all powerhouses above the law enforcer realm. Since it's a war between races, there will be battles of all realms. That's right. War is the fastest way to increase strength. Strength is the eternal truth. If you and I don't work hard and want to enjoy the fruits of others' battles, such a human race won't be far from destruction. For a time, in the various cities, it was full of sounds of signing up and quarreling. Half a day later, the warriors at the front line returned exhausted and full of killing intent. These people were easy to recognize because they were full of killing intent. Everyone who saw them felt their hearts skip a beat. Green Bamboo City. Zhang Haichao was holding a jar in his left hand and a bloody long knife in his right hand, asking something in a shop on the road. Boss, is Slate Street in this place? The shop owner was a little scared by Zhang Haichao's killing intent and quickly nodded. Yes, my lord, this is Slate Street. Zhang Haichao frowned. Do you know the way to Suji's refining shop in the 9th district of Slate Street? Upon hearing this, the boss hurriedly said, I know. Old Sue's refining shop. Go along this intersection, turn left, and after 3 intersections, there's a small alley. Go straight in and you'll see it. Thank you. Under the gaze of everyone, Zhang Haichao strode away. A moment later, when Zhang Haichao saw the entrance of the alley, he took a deep breath, frowned, and walked in. After Zhang Haichao walked into this alley, many residents didn't dare to speak. They watched Zhang Haichao come to the Su family's refining shop. Immediately, the neighbors nearby knew what happened. Suji's refining shop was very conspicuous. Because the refining sound was loud and the power dissipated, it enjoyed a large piece of land. When Zhang Haichao came to the front of the shop, he saw a bare-armed man brandishing a hammer, knocking on a red iron. Every time he hammered, the power formed a gust of wind that dispersed around. Not far from the man, a woman was melting materials with the spirit fusing scripture. When she saw Zhang Haichao, a piece of ore that the woman was smelting fell to the ground with a bang. With tears in her eyes, she looked at the long bloody knife in Zhang Haichao's hand. The middle-aged man realized what was going on too. He hammered faster and faster, more than 300 times in a row. It was not until the hammer in his hand shattered with a bang that he gasped heavily and put his hands on the refining table. Is there no body left of my son? When Zhang Haichao heard this, his nose was sour. He knelt on the ground. Uncle, in order to save me, Suda perished with a venerable level enemy and detonated himself on the spot. This saber was left behind by Suda. He once told me that this saber was his father's best work and his favorite weapon in his life. Sorry, I caused Suda's death. Even his corpse wasn't left. I, Zhang Haichao, am willing to take care of you on behalf of Suda. Humph. The middle-aged man strode forward and snatched the long saber. He wiped the blood on the saber with his sleeve and said solemnly, this is the path he chose. If you want to repay him for saving your life, you should go to the battlefield and kill a few more B***stars of the city of origin. After a pause, the man continued, as for revenge, humph, of course I'll avenge my son. The woman's tears flashed, and she couldn't help but sob slightly. The middle-aged man roared, why are you crying? You and I are both cultivators. You should know that on the path of cultivation, death is common. Zhang Haichao hurriedly said, "Uncle, I'll avenge Suda. You two can't go to the battlefield." Ridiculous. The middle-aged man scolded angrily, "Why should others avenge my son? If the human race wants to rise, every human should raise the knife in their hands and cut through all obstacles for the human race. How can we be an exception? Boy, my son saved you because he wanted you to fight for the human race. If you kill enemies on the battlefield, you will be worthy of his death." In fact, there were already tears in the middle-aged man's eyes. He turned his head and waved his hand gently. "There's another person in your jar, right? Go. Don't make his family wait." Peach Blossom City. Under the peach tree, a woman had been waiting here for a day and a night. This was a place for recruitment, so there was an endless stream of people coming and going, and no one noticed her. Two unfamiliar men carrying an armor box on their backs looked around for a long time before they walked forward. "Excuse me, are you Lin Adi?" "It's me." The woman's face was expressionless. She just stared at the armor box on the unfamiliar man's back. The two men frowned and then heaved a sigh. One of them took off his armor box and held it in his hand. "We went to your residence and didn't wait for you to come back. We didn't know that you were here until we asked around. This is Zhou Moshing's armor box. He killed 7 explorers on the battlefield and died of exhaustion. Before he died, he looked up at the sky and shouted, 'If there is a next life, I will definitely not fail you.'" The woman's lips curled up slightly, and a trace of tears fell. She said, "That's enough." Seeing that Lin Adi stopped talking and just looked at the peach blossom tree. Quietly, they looked at each other, sighed, and quietly left. 2 hours after the two of them left, Lin Adi came to the recruitment office with the armor box. "I'm a peak-level explorer. I want to participate in the battle." The recruiter asked, "Name, address, anyone else at home?" Lin Adi said lightly, "Lin Adi, 1099,000 Flower Road, Peach Blossom City, alone." Everyone had their own stories. There had never been a shortage of people with stories in this world. Some people fought for their dreams, some fought for others, and there were naturally some who didn't dare to fight. More importantly, it was fine if they didn't dare to participate in the battle, but they often found excuses for themselves. For example, in recent days, there had been some criticisms about Luo Xiaobai. At a certain dinner table, someone said, "I won't participate in the battle anyway. The human race's casualty rate is as high as more than 20%. The sky opening realm powerhouses of the city of origin were all wiped out. I heard that those sky-opening realm powerhouses are all in the peak-level late stage star transformation realm or perfected star transformation realm. Logically speaking, it's impossible for our human race to win, but now, not only have we won, but not a single human sky-opener has died. Master Human Emperor must have helped them." However, Master Human Emperor was helping the sky openers, so he naturally couldn't care about the ordinary battlefield. This shows that in a real battle, Master Human Emperor can't take care of everyone. Someone said in a low voice, "I heard that all of this was arranged by the war commander, Luo Xiaobai. It's said that she has many strong masters in her hands, but she doesn't let them attack. She just uses ordinary soldiers to fight. She's beautiful, but she's really ruthless." Someone said, "I heard that too. Luo Xiaobai is already using our human warriors as bait before she reaches the front line." That's right. This is only a battle of tens of millions of people. If a race war breaks out, there will be a battlefield of billions of people. Under such complicated circumstances, there's no way to care about every soldier. Then we can only fight head-on. That's simply taking our lives as a joke. Alas, I think Master Human Emperor is really blind this time. This time, Master Human Emperor said that he would start a race war. Sigh. I know that Master Human Emperor has a goal, but his goal might not necessarily be our goal. Anyway, I won't go to war. Of course, these people were just talking and didn't dare to spread these words. After chatting for a while, they went home. However, this time, they suddenly discovered that their demon plants were gone. Where were their demon plants? Someone shouted, "Law enforcement team." A moment later, when the law enforcement team arrived and saw this scene, they sneered and said bluntly, "Did you discuss the human emperor and the war commander in private?" They looked at each other in bewilderment. "Does it matter?" A member of the law enforcement team sneered. "Have you forgotten that these demon plants are all followers of Master Human Emperor? You're criticizing the Human Emperor. These demon plants know what you're talking about, so they just ran away. This is already giving you face. Come register and explain the reason." Someone was stunned. "Did I hear you wrong?" The law enforcement team member said, "No, you hear me right. Okay, the matter has been roughly cleared up, but I have to remind you that anyone who criticizes the human emperor and the war commander will be recruited as soldiers. You guys, come with me." "Huh? Why? What did we say? How can you compulsorily recruit us as soldiers? Why? Don't we even have the freedom of speech?" The law enforcer asked. "Why? It's just meant to let you truly understand how cruel the battlefield on the front line is. As for freedom of speech, you can talk to me about it after you experience the real battlefield. You don't know anything. All you know is spreading nonsense and panic. You still want to sit behind the human race and enjoy your peaceful lives? Don't worry. It's not just you. There are many people like you. You are not alone." After a while, this group of people was escorted away by the law enforcement team dejectedly. As for resistance, it was impossible. If they dared to tell others that they had criticized the human emperor and the war commander, they might be directly beaten to death. Therefore, rather than resist, they would rather join the army. After days of mourning, the sadness brought about by the war in the front line was gradually replaced by the fear and anxiety about the coming tidal wave. The people in the raging sea had never experienced tidal waves. They only knew how to fight according to the descriptions of the humans in the chaotic wasteland. 1 month later. There was only a month before the arrival of the tide wave, but the distribution of resources for resisting the tide wave hadn't started yet. Gradually, some people began to worry. What's going on? There's only 1 month until the tidal wave comes. Why? Haven't the clean stones been distributed yet? It's not that the clean stones haven't been distributed. It's said that the lava giants, the ferocious beasts affiliated to the yin-yang world, the forest of terror, the insect race, and the undersea human race have all received the clean stones. Now, only our human race hasn't received them. Huh? Why did they receive the clean stones first? It's probably because they have fewer people. It's convenient to distribute resources to them. Our human race has too many people. It's not easy to distribute resources to us. If that's the case, there should be a plan, right? I'm a little suspicious. Is the number of clean stones not enough? Hiss. Someone's face darkened. I heard from the human race in the chaotic wasteland that when they resisted the tidal waves in the past, in addition to the city protecting array, each of them had at least dozens of clean stones. As long as they used them appropriately, they could kill dozens of ominous creatures. However, our human race does have too many people. If each of us has one clean stone, that would be 180 billion pieces. If each of us has 10. Someone's expression changed slightly when he heard that. That's right. How many people are there in the 10,000 scale race? Even if we confiscate their resource bank, I'm afraid it's unrealistic to distribute dozens of clean stones to every human being. Suddenly, on the streets in the city, a street manager began to shout. Humans, please take note. Humans, please take note. Anyone below the law. Enforcer realm, quickly gather at the square of the human emperor's statue. Countless people were overjoyed when they heard that. It seemed that resources would be distributed. Everyone thought that it would start from distributing resources to the weak, but they didn't know how much they could get. As the entire human race was waiting for resources to be distributed, they were very enthusiastic. In a moment, the area around the human emperor's statue square was filled with people. An hour later, within dozens of kilometers of the human emperor's statue square, except for the necessary passages, people were standing everywhere. A sky-opening realm powerhouse stood in the sky and said, "My fellow humans, the tidal wave is approaching. In order to avoid unnecessary casualties, Master Human Emperor said that not everyone has to go to war. Therefore, most humans below the law enforcer realm will temporarily live in the origin stars of the strong masters and won't participate in resisting the tidal wave." Boom. So that's how it is. Hearing how the people in the chaotic wasteland described the tidal wave, I was so scared. I thought we were going to experience a great battle. Huh. I knew it. Those below the law enforcer realm are powerless to fight. It's a good thing to enter the origin stars of the strong. It'll be great if we come out after the tidal wave passes. However, someone was unhappy and shouted, "Why? We can fight too." That's right. We haven't even seen the tidal wave. It's impossible that all the ominous creatures are above the law enforcer realm, right? We want to participate in the war. We are also part of the human race. Most of the people who said this were young people. These people were generally more motivated, confident, and worshipped human Emperor Han Fei. An elder cursed, "You little be asterisk stards, what do you know? The human emperor is doing this for the good of the entire human race. You just need to listen." That's right. A bunch of brats who have never experienced a war. Do you know that you might all be gone when a round of tidal waves comes down? Are you idiots? If you could participate in the battle, would Master Human Emperor not let you participate? Little b asterisk stards, listen to us. It's good that you want to make a name, but you should know your limits. You will only cause trouble for Lord Human Emperor if you join in the battle. For most people, it would be best if they could survive the dangerous tidal wave safely. Seeing the chaos below, the sky-opening realm powerhouse said, "Be quiet. It's not that the human emperor doesn't want everyone to fight. However, you have to meet the conditions to stay." "My lord, what are the conditions?" I want to participate in the battle. The sky-opening realm powerhouse said indifferently, the first condition is that you have no relatives or friends. Anyone who meets this condition and is willing to participate in the battle, gather under the statue of the human emperor. Immediately, many people heaved a long sigh of relief and then sighed. Master, human emperor is really considerate. Someone slapped his son's head. Did you hear that? Did you meet the conditions? Silly boy. This is a matter with a high probability of death. Master Human Emperor is compassionate for all living beings and doesn't want to see people separated from their families. A man asked, but why can people who have no relatives or friends choose by themselves? An elder said leisurely, a person who has no relatives or friends has a lonely heart, so they can judge for themselves. Kids, people are different. You should be grateful. A young man stepped out of the crowd, came to the empty road, and walked under the statue of the human emperor. Immediately, someone shouted, Kid, although you don't have any relatives or friends, you don't have to participate in such a battle. The human race still has countless battles in the future. Why are you in such a hurry? Come back quickly. Someone shouted, Boy, you're still weak. If you want to participate in the battle, you have to become a law enforcer first. What's your strength now? Why? Are you rushing forward? Boy, come back. On the road, countless people were persuading him, but the young man grinned. Thank you for your kindness, uncles and aunts. Everyone's path is different. I have nothing to care about, so I can risk my life. I remember the human emperor's biography said that fighting makes me grow and become stronger. Someone laughed and walked out of the crowd, echoing, the next line is yes. So I yearn to fight. Someone continued, what follows is that I bloom in slaughter, like a flower in the dawn. More and more young people walked out of the crowd. In a moment, about 1.2 million people had gathered under the statue of the human emperor. In fact, 1.2 million orphans was already very few for a city with a population of nearly 500 million. This was the world of cultivators. If it weren't for the fact that the human race had been relatively stable for the past 600 years, this number might have increased by more than 7 or 8 times. Of course, there were still some who didn't choose to participate in the battle, so they weren't counted in. There were so many orphans in one city, and there were more than 300 human cities. In total, there were about 400 million people. This was still a huge number. After instructing everyone to pack up their things in a day, the sky-opening powerhouse took the lead to lead the loners who chose to participate in the battle to the imperial city. This was because in the human race, the people below the law enforcer realm accounted for the vast majority. Therefore, when such a group of people entered the origin stars, the human race's cities immediately became empty, losing 80% of its population. But even so, the human cities still had a total population of nearly 40 billion, which was also incomparable to the former city of scavengers. The people who stayed behind knew that the people below the law enforcer realm could avoid the tidal wave, but they couldn't. If some people could safely avoid the tidal wave, there would naturally be some people who would take the risk for them. But no one complained, because strength meant heavy burdens. Compared to Han Fei, what they bore was nothing. Half a month after the humans below the law enforcer realm entered the Strong's origin stars, the signs of the soon arrival of the tidal wave were already very obvious, but the clean stone resources hadn't been distributed yet. The humans left behind were all waiting. Many people even guessed that something had happened to the clean stone resources. It was on this day that Han Fei descended on the major cities with the void descending technique, and his voice spread throughout the human race. My fellow human beings, I am Human Emperor Han Fei. Everyone, gather in the Human Emperor Square and prepare to receive the clean stone resources. Finally. Ha ha ha, great. With resources, we can fight. It seems that the resources are in place. Everyone was overjoyed. What they were most afraid of was the lack of clean stone resources. But today, Han Fei finally appeared, which reassured them. In the Human Emperor Square, Han Fei appeared. Looking at the billions of human beings, he said, "My fellow human beings, I've summoned you here today. Not only to distribute supplies, but also to explain something to you." Many people took a deep breath, wondering if the tidal wave was harder to deal with than they imagined. Master Human Emperor, we are not afraid. Yes, we are not afraid. The human brothers in the chaotic wasteland have taught us a lot. We are confident of resisting the tidal wave. Han Fei said with a rumbling voice, "Everyone, the tidal wave is actually not very difficult to resist. The humans in the chaotic wasteland experience it once every 100 years and are living well now, so I'm not worried." That's not what I want to talk about. Huh? If it's not the tidal wave, what is it? Han Fei said, "I'm going to launch a sneak attack on the city of origin with the cover of the tidal wave." Hiss. Huh? Ambush the city of origin? Many people were stunned at first and then overjoyed. Since it was a sneak attack, they must catch the city of origin off guard. However, many people still didn't understand why Han Fei would tell them such an important thing. Some people reacted very quickly. It turned out that it wasn't that there were no clean stone resources, but that Master Human Emperor deliberately delayed distributing them. There was only half a month before the tidal wave came. At this time, Han Fei announced the plan to launch a sneak attack on the city of origin. This was clearly meant to catch the spies. There were 180 billion people in the human race. It was impossible to say that there were no spies of the city of origin in the human race. It wasn't like they were trapped in the cities every day. Once they went out, they might be possessed. Han Fei chose to announce his plan at this point. Even if these people learned of it, even if they ran away, so what? Unless they were in the sea establishment realm or the sky-opening realm, it was impossible for them to go from the human race to the city of origin in such a short time. However, someone would definitely try to spread the news, which was inevitable. Therefore, Luo Xiaobai had already set up an inescapable net, waiting for the fish to take the bait. Because sky openers could achieve space crossing through star beads, under the guidance of the vast ocean navigator, those that had possessed humans had nowhere to hide. 13 people had already been secretly executed by Han Fei. Han Fei continued, "My fellow human beings, as you know, I've recruited a billion soldiers to resist the city of origin. However, the number of soldiers this time is not enough. According to what I've learned recently, the total population of the city of origin may exceed 3 billion in total. Although 3 billion is nothing compared to our human race, don't forget that they are the indigenous residents of the sea realm. Their general strength is stronger than ours. If we want to win a big victory and crush them, being evenly matched in strength is not enough. Therefore, I need to recruit 8 billion more soldiers. With 3 times the number of people, we will surround and annihilate them. The so-called recruitment of 1 billion was just Han Fei telling the people of the city of origin through the mouths of the spies, and at the same time making them believe that the human race would indeed attack them after the tidal wave. After a pause, Han Fei continued, although the number is 3 times, the battle won't be easy and we will definitely suffer heavy losses. The only thing I can promise you is that this is a great war. This war will determine whether our human race will become strong or not. The participants might die, but they might also obtain a large number of resources or even opportunities. Master Human Emperor, I'm willing to go. Master Human Emperor, I didn't sign up because I was rejected. I must join the army today. Master Human Emperor, you must count me in for this sneak attack, no, this expedition. Han Fei motioned for everyone to stop talking. Everyone, don't be hasty. Sneaking on the city of origin is a big deal, but resisting the tides is also a big deal. We have to take care of both. If you all come with me to sneak attack the city of origin, who will guard the human cities? Therefore, I'll only take 8 billion people. First of all, those who are unaccompanied and alone come under the statue of the human emperor. Just as Han Fei was recruiting soldiers and preparing to launch a sneak attack on the city of origin. City of origin. In the Elder Council, a senior elder said, City Lord, we've already investigated the strength of the human race. They actually have very few true powerhouses. After the human emperor returned, he directly conscripted 1 billion soldiers, and a war between races will break out at any moment. It's not that our city of origin can't fight a race war, but in this chaotic wasteland, in addition to the human race that is rising, there's also the city of wanderers that has a close relationship with the human race. Now that it's unknown whether great monarch Tianming is alive or not, the enemy is pushing too far. We can't fall into a passive position. Therefore, City Lord, we unanimously think that we should take the opportunity when the tidal wave comes to launch a sneak attack on the human race with our sky-opening realm army. The puppet and Belan thought that Luo Xiaobai's prediction was really accurate. The only way these people could come up with was to sneak attack the human race. Besides, this method was unanimously agreed by the elders, which was great. It was not proposed by him, so no one would doubt him. After pretending to ponder for a moment, the puppet and Belan slowly said, Okay. Ah. City Lord, you made a wise decision. An elder seemed to pacify the puppet and Belan and added, City Lord, there are more than 300 human cities, but there is only one human emperor. As long as we restrain the human emperor, no one can stop our city of origin. Someone pondered and said, although the 1,000 perfected star transformation realm powerhouses disappeared within only 10 seconds that day, we can be sure that such a move has great restrictions. As long as our sky openers launch separate sneak attacks on the human race, the human emperor will definitely be helpless. Someone echoed, that's right. That kind of method can't be used casually. Otherwise, our city of origin would have long been gone. The puppet and Belan tapped his fingers on the table and pondered for a moment before saying, do you think the human race will launch a sneak attack on us? Ambush us? How can they launch a sneak attack on us? With 180 billion people, it's even a question if they can survive the tidal wave. They won't even have enough clean stones. The puppet and Belan asked, what if they enter the Strong's origin stars to take refuge? Even so, when the human race first came to the sea realm, they worked so hard to build the cities. It's impossible for them to watch it be destroyed. Some humans can enter the Strong's origin stars to take shelter, but there must be strong masters guarding the cities. How many people are needed to defend so many cities? This number is difficult to calculate. Therefore, we think that the human emperor will be too busy to take care of the entire human race. And Belan said, since you've analyzed it so thoroughly, I'll give it a try. An elder stood up. City Lord, you're wise. We wish you a triumphant return, City Lord. The day before the tidal wave came. At this moment, ominous creatures had already appeared outside the human city. One after another, but there weren't many of them. For the more than 30 billion human beings, they were no different from cannon fodder. In the imperial city, Han Fei, Luo Xiaobai, and Han Xian stood in the sky. At this moment, there were 10,000 sea establishers, 40 million venerables, as well as the strong masters of the lava giants, the undersea humans, and some demon plants and ferocious beasts from the Forest of Terror and Beast King Island here. Han Fei said leisurely, everyone, due to the limited number of clean stones. We still need to rely on you to guard the human cities. In all the human cities, there are super-large teleportation arrays leading to the Imperial City, which are located in the human Emperor Square. If the tidal wave is violent, don't resist it by force. Our fellow humans don't have to sacrifice ourselves here. If necessary, you can retreat to the Imperial City with your people. The human race will be in your hands for the time being. The sea establishers were all moved by his words. Someone said, may the human emperor return triumphantly. May the human emperor return triumphantly. The sound wave was like a waterfall, shaking the heavens and earth. Those who stayed behind knew that compared to the racial war in the city of origin, the tidal wave was just an ordinary disaster. Perhaps there would be sacrifices in the tidal wave, but they might not be worth mentioning compared to the war between races. They were not ordinary cultivators. The people present were at least above the venerable realm. They knew that the difference in strength between the strong could be huge. The advantage of the human race was that they had more people, but the advantage of the city of origin was that they had lived for hundreds of thousands of years here. In terms of the average strength, the city of origin was definitely stronger than the human race. Although Han Fei said that the human race army has 3 times more people than the city of origin, it was actually hard to say who was stronger. Unfortunately, they were asked to stay. Otherwise, they would really be willing to follow Han Fei to conquer the city of origin. After everybody was dismissed, Han Fei said, Uncle Xian, please take care of the tidal wave matter. Behind them, Hong Yu couldn't help but interject, Master Human Emperor, can I go to the city of origin with you? There are fixed ways to resist the tidal wave. It's meaningless even if I'm here. Han Fei shook his head. Old Hong, I want you to stay here for a purpose. Hong Yu? Seeing that Hong Yu still didn't understand, Han Xian couldn't help but say, Old Hong, you still don't understand. Han Fei wants you to have more contact with human beings in various realms to increase your popularity. He wants to entrust you with a heavy responsibility in the future. Well. Seeing Han Fei nod slightly, Hong Yu couldn't help but be excited. He had thought of killing Han Fei before, but after Han Fei rose to prominence, he shamelessly approached him. After so many years, he didn't dare to be negligent of any jobs Han Fei gave him, because he knew that this was Not in the raging sea where he, a mere king, could dominate. From submitting to Han Fei, to lying low in Mountain City, and then fighting. To save the human race, he was no longer the Han Yu he used to be. However, he had never thought how many humans he could manage. But Han Xian's words reminded him. Yes, Han Fei asked him to assist Han Xian in managing the human race. Han Xian even asked him to be in charge of the frontline battlefield. These days, all kinds of events happened one after another, making him busy but fulfilling. Now it seemed that all of this was indeed intentional. Han Fei was tempering him. Hong Yu's face turned red, and then his voice was crisp and loud. Hong Yu will not let you down, Master Human Emperor. Han Fei said, just try your best. The human race still has a long way to go. Old Hong, you have to work hard too. Don't be caught up by others. After Han Xian's reminder, Hong Yu felt much more energetic and broad-minded. He grinned. After all, I used to be one of the only kings in the raging sea. The next day, the tidal wave came. However, Han Fei was no longer in the human race. Similarly, the puppet in Belan was no longer in the city of origin. In the void near the city of origin, Han Fei, Luo Xiaobai, and the puppet in Belan stood quietly. Although this was just a show, only a few people knew the truth, so it wouldn't affect the overall situation. The reason for Luo Xiaobai's plan was actually very simple. The sky opening realm powerhouses were the greatest advantage of the city of origin. They mingled with most people of the city of origin, so it was difficult for them to kill them without affecting ordinary people. Even if it was a head-on battle, it was impossible for Han Fei to kill hundreds of thousands of peak-level late-stage star transformation realm and perfected star transformation realm powerhouses in one go. Even if there were puppets from the puppet city, he would have to sacrifice many puppets to win. Therefore, if the battle in the sky-opening realm started head-on, the combined strength of the human race and the Wanderers might not be enough to resist a few rounds of attacks. Therefore, this was Luo Xiaobai's purpose in leaving the city of origin. She wanted to create a sense of crisis for the city of origin and let the elders take the initiative to propose a sneak attack strategy. Even if the elders didn't propose this strategy, the puppet and Belan would control one of them and propose this strategy. In order to make this show more realistic, he left 10,000 sky-opening realm powerhouses in the city. Otherwise, if he really proposed to take away all the sky openers, it would arouse suspicion. Luo Xiaobai said, although they are now trapped in Belan's origin star. Can you solve the hundreds of thousands of peak-level late-stage star transformation realm and perfected star transformation realm cultivators? Han Fei said, don't worry. I'll solve it. They're already trapped and can't escape. As long as I detonate. No. Luo Xiaobai knew what Han Fei meant. He planned to directly detonate in Belan's star core, and then most of the sky openers would immediately be killed or injured. However, this way, many people might be reduced to ashes under the monarch's law. At that time, it would be a waste of so many sky-opening realm powerhouses. Han Fei smiled again and said, haha, I'm just kidding. The tidal wave will last for about 2 to 3 days. If we attack them now, we'll only alert them. In Belan's origin star, the voice rumbled. Everyone, stay in the city for 2 to 3 days. We're going to launch a surprise attack at the end of the tidal wave, which is when the human race is most exhausted from dealing with the tidal wave. At that time, it will be the time to solve the crisis of our City of Origin. In Balan's origin star, all the sky opener responded. Someone clicked his tongue. I'm really looking forward to it. Someone smiled and said, in any case, this time, the human race will definitely suffer. They have many people and their overall strength is very weak. As long as we attack quickly, we can make them suffer heavy losses. Someone sneered. That stupid human emperor is so arrogant. I don't want anything else. If anyone can catch the humans' war commander, I'm willing to pay a low-quality soul-suppressing godly weapon to buy her. F***ck, you're really generous. Just as the sky openers of the City of Origin were looking forward to the start of the sneak attack, Hanfei was also waiting. He was right about one thing, which was to attack at the end of the tidal wave and when the people in the City of Origin were most exhausted. Bang! Half a day later, darkness enveloped them, which was an ominous aura. Taking advantage of the moment when the ominous aura hit the barrier of the City of Origin, Hanfei quietly entered the City of Origin with his black mist body. After all, this was not the first time he had come here. This city protecting array seemed to be useless to him. On the first day of the tidal wave, the City of Origin consumed nearly 20 billion clean stones. And the City of Origin only had 13 cities under its jurisdiction, and each city must have consumed a lot of clean stones. In general, on the first day of the tidal wave, at least 50 billion clean stones were consumed. The next day, the people in the City of Origin were fighting methodically. Suddenly, they saw a crack in the city protecting array. The reason was unknown. Immediately, many people were dumbfounded. From the huge crack, a large number of ominous creatures surged in. Immediately, hundreds of sky-opening realm powerhouses came to block them. However, for some reason, the city protecting array seemed to have failed, and the crack couldn't be repaired. Not good. There's a problem with the array. Who can understand the city protecting array? Come here quickly. However, the array masters in the City of Origin quickly came to a conclusion. Not good. One of the array eyes is broken. We need 2 hours. Hearing that it would only take 2 hours, the sky openers were all relieved. If it was only 2 hours, it would be simple. They just needed to hold out for 2 hours. However, an array master immediately said, but with this place as the core array eye, it will reduce the efficiency of the entire city protecting array by 30% and may cause other array eyes to break. We need to put in more clean stones. What? The effect of the entire array is reduced by 30%. For a moment, everyone's expression changed. The next day was when the tidal wave was at its fiercest. The defense effect of the array was reduced by 30%, which meant that the consumption of the clean stones was at least 50% faster than usual, or even more. The sky openers all shouted, everyone, help defend other fronts and hold on. For 2 hours. Everyone thought that this was just an accident. After all, only one of the array eyes had a problem and could be quickly repaired. It was just that the clean stones were consumed faster. In the end, after 2 hours, problems appeared in 3 array eyes, and 3,000 sky-opening realm powerhouses took action. They mainly relied on the clean stone to quickly kill the ominous creatures. Finally, on the second day of the tidal wave, the City of Origin consumed nearly 36 billion clean stones. As for the 13 cities under the City of Origin, because the attacks of the ominous creatures were fiercer, each city's consumption of clean stones increased slightly. In total, on the first day of the tidal wave, at least 90 billion clean stones were consumed. Halfway through the third day, the tidal wave was no longer as fierce as before, and the consumption of the clean stones had obviously begun to decrease. During this period, there was no problem with the city protecting array. Among the sky openers, someone said, "I wonder how the city lord is doing." Someone said, "I'm sure they haven't taken action yet, but they'll probably take action in 6 hours." Someone said confidently, "It's impossible for the human race to stop them. If they want to completely occupy the chaotic wasteland, they have to make use of the tidal wave this time to collect enough energy crystals. Otherwise, how can a monarch afford so many people? And once all the humans participate in the war, the city lord will have a great chance." Someone echoed, "That's right. We just need to wait for the good news. When the tidal wave is over and the human race is heavily injured, the city of wanderers will definitely take action. A war will be inevitable, but the human race might not be able to afford the price. At that time, as long as the city lord delays the human emperor and our city of origin suppresses the city of wanderers, our city of origin will definitely become the biggest winner in the chaotic wasteland." However, just as everyone was happily thinking about how the city of origin would dominate the chaotic wasteland, the array of the entire city of origin suddenly extinguished. Yes, it was completely extinguished. The city protecting array stopped working, and the ominous creatures that were no longer blocked rushed in like a tide. Ah. Pfft. Not good. Why did the array stop working? Help me. For a moment, the venerables and explorers who were responsible for consuming the ominous creatures on the city wall suffered a round of impact, and nearly 1 million people were corroded by the ominous creatures. After all, no one expected the city protecting array to stop working. At this moment, the expressions of the elders and the sky-opening realm powerhouses all changed. Someone among the elders shouted, "Not good. There's a traitor. Someone has damaged the city protecting array." Someone shouted, "All the sky openers and sea establishers, protect the city. The main city must not be broken through." The sky opening realm powerhouses guarding the other 13 cities will each leave 100 people to protect the city. The others quickly return to reinforce the main city. More than 60% of the heavenly cicada clan's heirs were gathered in the main city of the city of origin. Once the main city was destroyed, the heavenly cicada clan would definitely suffer a catastrophe. At this moment, the strong masters of the Elder Council couldn't care less. Even if other cities had problems, they could only give them up, but the main city had to be defended. For a time, more than 8,700 sky-opening realm powerhouses quickly rushed up. Someone shouted, "The Elder Council, hurry up and arrest the traitor. Let's guard the main city first." All sea establishers formed the second line of defense. If any ominous creatures escape, we must kill them all. All venerables form the third line of defense. Those below the venerable realm immediately approach the core area of the main city. Array masters, is it possible to repair the city protecting array? Many array masters had already tried to repair the array. The core array of the main city was in the city lord's mansion, hanging high above the city of origin. When they arrived, the foundation of the city protecting array on the floating palace had already turned into powder. The 72 pillars engraved with Tao patterns in the entire floating palace had all snapped. Immediately, an array master shouted, "The pivot of the city protecting array has been destroyed and can't be repaired." But everyone, the tidal wave can last at most 6 to 8 hours. Hang in there. F***ck. Someone cursed angrily. The ominous creatures weren't powerful, but there were too many of them. As sky openers, they weren't afraid of the ominous creatures, but the space they could control was limited. And each city was very big. They might be able to withstand it in the early stages, or could achieve a super large-scale killing of enemies. However, such a super large-scale attack couldn't be launched continuously. Once there was a gap in use, a large number of ominous creatures would immediately break through the blockade. However, there was nothing they could do at this moment. Someone said, "Damn it. If the mayor hadn't taken away more than 100,000 sky openers, even if the array was completely broken, it might not have been a problem to resist for 3 days and 3 nights. But now," someone shouted, "no matter what, hold on for 6 hours. When the tidal wave is over, ordinary people can fight." At this moment, in the crowd of the city of origin, a figure quietly left. After a while, Han Fei appeared in a relatively safe place behind the city of origin. Bang! Han Fei smashed the ice with a punch, and Belan jumped out and stepped on the ice. Only a few seconds after Han Fei stepped out, the broken cave condensed again as if it had never been penetrated. On the ice of the chaotic wasteland, it would only take 300 seconds to fill the ultra-quality godly weapon, Extreme Cold Pearl, with the power of Extreme Cold. If it were a peak-level late-stage star transformation realm cultivator, as long as he stayed here for 100 seconds, he would be almost dead. A perfected star transformation realm powerhouse might have a stronger resistance, but he wouldn't be able to last more than 200 seconds. In Belan's origin star, his voice echoed, "Everyone, it's time to flatten the human race. In a moment, I will let all of you enter human cities. Remember, I want you to attack indiscriminately. Only when the human race is in chaos can our city of origin win." Immediately, the 150,000 strong masters of the city of origin were all ready to attack. "Is the war finally going to start?" someone said in a low voice. "Although attacking ordinary ants will affect our Dao hearts, this is a war between races after all. We should try our best to slaughter the human race as much as possible." Someone sneered. "The human emperor and the war commander of the human race are just arrogant and conceited. Apart from having more people, what else do they have?" Someone said, "Many people are enough. I heard that they have 180 billion people. I don't know if it's true, but it will be very troublesome to kill them all." Someone sneered. "So what? The 180 billion people gather in more than 300 cities. How many cities can the human emperor protect? We just need to try our best to destroy the cities. Just the aftershock of the battle is enough to bring a devastating blow to the human race. Alright, we have to be careful. You should know the strength of the human emperor. Some of us will inevitably encounter the human emperor. Whoever encounters him will be unlucky. Isn't the human emperor restrained by the city lord? It's hard to tell who will win the battle between monarchs. Just be careful." At this moment, the puppet in Belan said, "Everybody, get ready for battle." For a moment, everyone gathered together, holding their weapons in their hands, ready to activate their great Dao at any time. But in the next moment, as the phantom of the world descended, their first feeling was cold, bone-chilling cold. Shoot! What's going on? Where is this? F***ck, isn't this on the ice? Why are we here? It's so cold. No, everyone, activate fire element techniques immediately. Wait, we are sealed in a barrier. For a moment, many people scanned their surroundings and were surprised to find that their perception couldn't even penetrate 1,000 kilometers. Although permeating perception would be frozen on the ice, it didn't mean that perception couldn't sweep this place. At that moment, they would still receive feedback. However, this time, they were shocked to find that their perception was restricted. There seemed to be an invisible barrier around them, directly trapping them. Not good. I can't connect to my origin star. It's over. Something is wrong with the city lord. What are you talking about? He's not the city lord at all. Yes, at this moment, no one would believe in Belan anymore. However, under the suppression of the turtle shell sky sealing technique, even if they knew that there was something wrong within Belan, what could they do? Someone shouted, "Everyone, charge with me. There are hundreds of thousands of us. Not every barrier can trap us. Everyone, try your best. Otherwise, our combat power will plummet in less than 100 seconds on this ice, and it will be impossible for us to break through the barrier." The first reaction of these hundreds of thousands of powerhouses was to break through the barrier. However, as they attacked crazily, they could only shake the turtle shell and couldn't destroy it. After all, it was the armor of a great monarch who was best at defense. How could these mere sky openers destroy it? After hundreds of consecutive attacks, everyone was desperate. Some of them had lost almost 70% of their strength, their bodies were almost frozen into ice cubes, and their vitality was rapidly slipping away. At this moment, someone cursed angrily, and Belan, "You bastard, you betrayed the heavenly cicada clan. And Belan, come out if you dare. It's over. The city of origin is over. And Belan has betrayed us. If we die, no one can protect the city of origin. The city of origin is over." Another 100 seconds later. Among these hundreds of thousands of people, 30,000 had already died. Yes. They had been frozen to death. They had no choice. Unable to break through the mystic martial monarch armor and withstand the extremely cold power, they would definitely freeze to death. More importantly, if one was frozen to death here, their soul would be frozen and shattered. The power of extreme cold infiltrated indiscriminately, so it was only natural that their souls would be frozen and shattered. However, Han Fei was still quite surprised. These people had rich fire origin energy, and there were actually 120,000 people who endured for 200 seconds. It must be related to the sea of fire in the chaotic ice domain. The cultivation of these people was still effective. However, after 300 seconds, less than half of them were still alive. And only 50,000 people were still alive. After 400 seconds, there were no more than 600 people who could still hold out, and these 100 people were all fire-type Dao Lock-level powerhouses. But even so, Han Fei didn't intend to do it himself. He just waited another 100 seconds. In the end, within 500 seconds, 150,000 peak-level late-stage star transformation realm and perfected star transformation realm powerhouses in the city of origin all died. No one survived. In Han Fei's origin star, Luo Xiaobai, Lu Qianxi, the hexagon starfish, Wang Xiaojiu, and the others all felt a chill down their spines after witnessing this scene with their own eyes. Lu Chanxi said, I swear, I will never go into an ice pit in my life. It's horrible. The hexagon starfish's big eyes rolled. Han Fei, I'm going to cultivate the great Tao of fire. Wang Xiaojiu and the others looked at each other in bewilderment, and Huang Ergu's teeth were chattering non-stop. Wang Lanlan said, look at you. It's not you who are frozen. Why are you shivering? Huang Ergu said, it feels freezing just looking at them. Da. Wang Xiaojiu sighed. How sad are these people? They were frozen to death without even seeing the enemy. This is much more sad than dying on the battlefield. They don't even have a chance to die with their opponents. Luo Xiaobai said, collect these corpses. Now is not the time to appreciate the battle results. There are still a group of sky-opening realm powerhouses in the city of origin. These people have to die too. With a swish, the hexagon starfish was sucked to Wang Xiaojiu's head. He suddenly felt that Luo Xiaobai seemed to be even more ruthless than Han Fei.